Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Today, we're going to address um, an issue, an ongoing issue in the United States of America with respect to self defense. Now, when I was in law school, I was taught that there's equal protection under the law. In fact, I tell my students once a semester that the United States was a nation of laws, right? That's one of the distinctions that allegedly separate us from other countries, is we are a nation of rules and laws. But is there a double standard in our legal system? Well, is that double standard contingent upon racial classification? Well, if you look at the books, it says no. But if you look at reality, reality says otherwise. Let's look back to a case years ago that happened when a young man who was very wealthy, 15-year-old boy, was drinking at his mansion that his dad bought for him at 15 years old. Um, Went to Walmart with his high school friends, stealing beer. They let him walk out with cases of beer. He just stole them. Then he got in his brand new red truck to joyride and slaughtered several young people and a pastor who were pulled over on the side of the road with car trouble coming from a youth retreat. That was clear cut. And first, let me give a disclaimer. This is not, I'm not giving legal advice. I'm just stating my opinion, my pro se opinion. Again, I'm not giving any type of legal advice. I'm stating a pro se opinion. This gentleman slaughtered several people and got off, even though he was drinking underage, speeding, driving up on the corner, and just made mincemeat out of people coming home from Bible study. He got off because his psychologist and attorney argued that he had affluenza. That's a real defense now, to my pro se understanding. Affluenza is a defense in court that says you were so rich that you did not know right from wrong. I often think, would that ever apply to a foundational Black American? Today, we're going to do a little comparison, contrast analysis of the legal system with respect to two people we're going to look at today. We're going to look at Carmelo Anthony, um, and we're also going to look at uh, the young lady in St. Louis. Her name escapes me right now. Name was yeah, Marnice Declue, and we're going to try to figure out, is there equal protection under the law vis-a-vis our topic. Are FBAs allowed to defend ourselves? Are we? Can we defend ourselves? Does self-defense apply to us? After which, we're going to look at we're going to beg the question: are Africans responsible for the slave trade? But first and foremost, let's get into it. Wani, Nikki, are we allowed to defend ourselves?
Of course not. But we will defend ourselves.
I don't feel that I don't have a gun, and the reason I don't have a gun is because I feel like if I use it, I'm going to have to answer a lot of questions, and it won't be cut and dry. If somebody breaks into my home, I don't feel that I have the right to shoot them. I feel like I'll be questioned, and they'll just make up something because I've seen them do it before. I've watched thousands of crime shows. And when they want a white man to get off, they'll just start talking about, oh, well, you must have been dating him. This could be a lover's quarrel. We see this and we saw that. And the neighbors said they saw him come over there before. So they can just make up whatever they want. And they often do this with their wives. Okay. The white man will beat his wife up, break her arms, blacken her eyes, and do everything to her you can imagine. And she'll finally rear up and kill him. And they will railroad that woman right into jail. So, number one person that they need to defend is the white man. And then the white woman comes second. So, I know that I fall down on the bottom of that. This is what I feel. I don't know it to be true. As far as I know, a white man could break in right now and I could shoot him in the kneecaps, and they would say, well, he shouldn't have broke in. You're in the right. Fill out this paper and go home. But I just don't feel that I would be able to just defend myself cleanly like some other people that I know. And that's just my opinion.
Well, let's look at some disparities in the legal system that I encountered a little over 10 years ago when I was a second year law student. Um, I went to law school in Alabama, and there was a judge that would often teach classes at the law school. And I'm not going to say his name, but he was Caucasian, and he was known for arresting. You know, he was hard on drug dealers and and drug addicts, and he would often make jokes in class about um, uh, arresting foundational Black American boys because they were filth, and we were filth, and we were a menace to society. Now, when people would ask him about the white boys who had DUIs, he would always make excuses for them, like he was just having a bad day. He's learning, and give them easier sentences. So obviously, racial discrepancies do exist in the legal system. When we look at the Carmelo Anthony case, and I'm paraphrasing it from what I've heard, um, allegedly, Mr. Anthony was approached by Caucasian men who were being aggressive towards his person. Now, um, I was taught, and this is just what I was taught, I'm not legally advising anybody, but I was taught there are certain things called affirmative defenses. To my pro se opinion, an affirmative defense is a defense that you have that's justified if your life is in danger. The key is your life is in danger. So when those gentlemen approached Carmelo and threatened his person, was his life not in danger?
Well, that's the problem. If it's subjective, they can say, "Oh no, it's just some kids roughing each other up. His life wasn't in danger." But then if they feel that their life is in danger, if they pull us over for a ticket and I look at the cop the wrong way, he could say, "I felt my life was in danger." Like Sonia Massey, she turned around and she might have been doing, she may have touched a pot. She was thinking about a pot, but she was nowhere near this man. She could not have been a threat to this person. But he said she was. So, see, they just make up whatever they want. That's the problem. It's subjective, it's not math.
It's
It's,
subjective and it's mental. You know how we look at rats and roaches? They're filthy. You see them, you just want to step on them. They look at us as something filthy and disgusting and beneath them. But then at the same time, they're insecure when they're around us. Wasn't it mentioned yesterday that the black man is seen as always carrying a gun? Like he always has a weapon on him, right? So
You
aren't they insecure?
we're gonna get deep off in that with Dr. Welsing and how she argues that every black male is considered to have a weapon. The weapon, according to Dr. Welsing, is your penis. Um, because of genetic annihilation, Dr. Welsing argued that in the back of the European mind is the knowledge, even though they may not admit it, the knowledge that black genetics are stronger. And the way Dr. Welsing put it, she said when Christopher Columbus and the Europeans were running across the world raping people, the ships would break down. And it would be at least 9 months to a year before the ships could be fixed and dock. And in that period of a year, babies would be born, and European males start to notice that no matter what woman that they raped or had uh, consensual sex with, the baby would never be white. And they kind of figured out that melanated genetics, particularly black genetics, are stronger. Therefore, if a black man or group of black men decided to ride around the world doing the same thing, white genetics would just disappear. So, given that line of logic, Dr. Welsing argued that black men, in the eyes of European males, do have a weapon in between our legs. And she said that the handgun was created in diametric opposition of a black male phallus. Think about that for a minute. A handgun was designed in direct diametric opposition to a black male's junk. And the lexicon kind of proves it, because what do you call the gun? You call the gun the great what? Equalizer.
equalizer.
What are you trying to equalize? Well, I'll tell you, according to Dr. Wells, you're trying to equalize black genetics. Um, so back to Carmelo, if these gentlemen were trying to which the reports say, trying to attack him, and he warned them. According to ABC, ABC says that Carmelo, he was protecting himself. Now, protecting insinuates that he thought his life was in danger. So, my question, and if it's any attorneys in here, please, any criminal defense attorneys, please help me understand, if he was protecting himself, which is what he said according to ABC to the police, why in the motherfucker is he being charged with first degree murder? So let's talk about first degree murder for a second. Now, different states call it different things, but I was taught in first year law school that first degree murder it doesn't exist in the state I went to school in. It's called Class A. So it's what we refer to as a capital offense, meaning that um, it's such a high offense that the state, if a death penalty exists, which I think Texas does have a death penalty, that if convicted, you can be subject to the death penalty. It's called capital offense because the highest officer in the states, America is designed like a mirror of the country. So every state has a president. We call this the president, the governor. Every city has a little governor. We call that governor the mayor. So what's the president's job? As I tell my students all the time, the president is in the executive branch. Think about it. What does execute mean? It means you have the power of life and death. Let me prove it to you right quick. The American president is the commander in chief of what? The military. The American president makes a decision. Should he execute an order to go to war? What do you do at war? You fucking kill people. So, given that fact, the governor has permission with with that type of conviction to execute a person for a capital offense. So, with that being said, I was taught, and it's just my pro se uh, opinion, it's not legal advice in any form. A capital offense or first degree murder deals with a crime plus murder. So the way I was taught is a clear cut capital offense is you get somebody, let's say, going into the liquor store to rob the liquor store, right? He's going in there to rob the liquor store. Is that a crime? Yes, as I was told. If that same person commits murder while he's robbing the liquor store, he can be subject to a capital offense. So somebody please help me to understand how Carmelo is even being charged with a capital offense. I just if any criminal attorneys in here, please help me understand. I'm not smart enough to grasp it. Given the fact he said he was defending himself, given the fact he has witnesses that those gentlemen approached him and threatened his person, how in the hell is this first degree murder? Can it?
They just make up whatever they want. That's the part that we just have to deal with. I mean, I don't know what to say. I
Do
don't
we have
see how I don't see how Daniel Penny gets to just say, I think this guy is going to do something because he's talking and then choke someone to death. I don't see how um, Zimmerman gets to murder a teenager and like he's not armed, he's got, he's just a kid. These people are just walking around murdering people and saying that they feel threatened. But when we feel threatened and have an actual reason to be threatened, two people on one, apparently these guys are taller and bigger, and they're known bullies, and he didn't want to get into a fight with them anymore, and he did what he had to do. So people can beat you to death, and two people attacking you, that's a threat against your life.
Right, right. Dr. Welson talks about that ad nauseum. Dr. Welson says, quote, this comes from the ISIS papers, page 107. She says, quote, it should be made clear here that black males' genital apparatus is the most feared relative to the general genital apparatus of other non-white males because in possessing the greatest potential to produce melanin, the pigment responsible for all true skin coloration, black males have the greatest genetic potential to annihilate the global white minority. So, given that uh, explanation by Dr. Welsing, if a black male is walking up to a non-black a white male, he does have a weapon, and the weapon is in between his legs. 7-4. What you think about that?
actually see it's first is Capone.
Oh yeah, go
With
ahead. Go
all due
ahead.
respect
Go,
to you,
go ahead.
first is Capone, then it's Twizzle, then it's Seventh
Hey,
Ward, and
Twizzler.
then I was, yeah.
Hey, Seventh Ward.
Sorry about
Yeah, and
that.
then Jamal was
Sorry about that,
Jamal
guys.
was trying to come
Thank
up.
you, Nikki, for
Yeah.
clarifying that. Capone, I don't
Okay.
even see Capone on here.
Oh, wait a minute. He's gone.
Is Capone up here?
Okay. Well,
Okay.
Twizzle's next,
Go ahead, Twizzle.
and
Okay.
and then seventh word is after.
Hey, happy Manic Monday, everybody. What's up, Professor?
What's up,
What's up,
bro?
Nikki? What's up, Sister Ronnie? Fast ass Ronnie. What's up, everybody? Yeah, this is a good conversation, as you always have, because, Professor, you like to hit the topic. You like to hit it like right between the ribs so you can puncture the lungs so you can hit them Neanderthals right where it hurt. And as us being Black Americans and Sister Wani, I know you're very familiar and experienced to know we have never been able to defend ourselves. They don't even want us fighting back. You know what I'm saying? I was sitting here watching a movie, an old black exploitation movie with Jim Brown when he became the sheriff of this small town. And I just remember how they used to just talk to black people and how we couldn't look at them and how we was just supposed to do this like we were just their servants. And that's what they really want to go back to. And Professor, I know you know this. When the time of the massacre of the Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, they got away with killing those black people because they said that they have a right to kill us if they're correcting us. You know what I mean? That's an unwritten law that's in the books. It's also in the 13th Amendment, and that's how the slave owners was able to control their slaves with the threat of death, with the threat of murder. And that's why it's legal, and that's how the police are getting away with it. But I want to give a shout out to the Black Queen who got killed by her Neanderthal, who shot her and spit on her. You know what I mean? My heart goes out to those black women who like to swirl and everything because I know what's finna happen to them. I know they finna deal with an uncivilized savage that's gonna wake up one day with a bloodthirsty rage and he gonna take it out on the first person who he see. So shout out to them. You know what I mean? But either way it go, we have to defend ourselves because if we don't, who else will? You know what I mean? And we're in a situation right now to where some of our sisters are off the reservation and they're expecting protection, but we can't protect you when you go off the reservation. If you want to go swirl and eating if you want to go swirl and eating cabbage, or if you want to go swirl and eating Chinese food, or if you want to go Taco Tuesday, that's on you. You can't expect us to look out for you when you over there. You got to stay over here with the brothers and the family so we can protect you. But if you want to go swirling, you got to understand this. In the words of Dr. John Henry Clark, once you go there, you stay there. Because if you mess with a white boy, you got to learn how to cook cabbage, corned beef, and bratwurst now because that's what he like. That's his culture. So that's what you got to get used to. Just like if you get with an Asian man, you got to start learning how to make fried rice, chow mein, and motherfucking learning how to roll egg
I
rolls out of
already know
rice
how to do
noodles.
that.
You know what
I'm
I'm
ready to
saying?
go.
That's what
I'm
I'm
getting me a
saying, though.
Chinese boy tonight.
That's what I mean. The same thing if you want an Italian food, you gotta learn how to, if you get an Italian, you gotta learn how to make cannolis and fucking, pasta and shit. But that's how it is, man.
Cannolis.
Yes, but that's what it is, and that's what you gotta be careful for what you get, because as they say, what's the old saying? Be careful for what you wish for because you just might get it. So when a lot of people say they want love and they want this and that, be careful what you ask for because you just might get it. And when you get it, it may not be how you want. You know what I'm saying? So we Black Americans, we got to stand stop. We got to stand solid and we have to stand strong, man, because we all we got, and don't nobody really care about us. And as I look at it and as I see it, we got a bunch of motherfucking tethers and immigrants over here who's acting like they're trying to buy on who's going to have authority and rights and thinking they can have control over us. So we got to put 10 toes down and be ready to put these 10 toes up somebody asses so they can come out their mouth and we can see their toes on their crown. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody
Yep.
and shout out to the room, man. We gonna kick some ass and we gonna have Sister Wani drop kick everybody with them thick ass thighs. Peace,
Oh,
everybody.
Lord. What was that thing they said? I'll put my fist so far down your throat you'll be shitting knuckles. Anybody remember?
I
I don't
remember
remember that
That
one.
sounds familiar.
shit, my
It
stepfather
sounds
used to tell me,
familiar.
boy, keep talking shit, I'm gonna rip your head off and I'm gonna wipe my ass with your neck. You know what I'm saying? That's what my stepfather used
Oh,
to tell me.
boy. Oh,
But
man.
my stepfather was a sailor,
And
so
I
I used to
complained
get
about
all.
my threats.
My stepfather was a sailor, so I used to get all that old abuse, that old drunk shit. But man, I used to catch it all. I used to say, I bet
Oh,
you a
Did you
fat man, a
get.
funky monkey, and a cross-eyed alligator, boy, you can't beat
Were you a really
me.
bad kid?
I
Yep.
Were
couldn't
you
be a
bad
bad.
when you were a kid?
I couldn't be bad because
Yep.
it was me, and if I didn't have my dad, it was my partners who had dads and everybody. I grew up in a community where everybody could beat your ass. Not only that, the teachers could beat your ass. I ain't gonna tell you, and I'm gonna land the plane here. My second grade teacher called my mother and told my mother I was winking at a white woman, all because I learned how to raise my eyebrows. The chick was a red bone; she was light skinned, so I just learned how to did that, do that. My second grade teacher, Miss Rivers, she was a dark skinned chocolate woman, and she saw it. She called my mama that night. We sitting here watching a Charles Bronson movie, me and my stepfather, everything. She called my mom, was like, Tony was winking at a white woman. I'll never forget my mother on the phone. That's when we used to have the phone on the wall with the long string, the long ass spaghetti string on that motherfucker. She standing there, huh? What? He winking at a white woman, and she took me upstairs and beat my ass. You know what I'm saying? And I told my mama she was light skinned. What the teacher gonna lie for? But then she later on and told me that I'm her only son. She didn't want nothing to happen to me because white women only meant nothing but death. He said the Ku Klux Klan ran her adopted parents out of Arkansas because they were successful. So ever since then, she ain't never touched nothing white, had no desire for nothing white, and she prayed that her only son don't. And all my life, I can proud I say I've been with nothing but sisters, nothing but black women, not an Asian, not a Taco Tuesday burrito festival or Maria, none of that. Just my sisters. I love my black women, chocolate preferably. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, real talk. Ladies and gentlemen, before we go to the next speaker, I want y'all to observe the Jumbotron. I put scholarship from Dr. Frances Cress Welsing out of her masterpiece in the Jumbotron. And if you look at it, well, first and foremost, as Carl Gustav Jung clarified in his work, the great psychiatrist, German psychiatrist, mind you, um, the unconscious mind doesn't know how to lie. So your feminine mind, the deep wellspring of information, it expresses itself through actions. For instance, the game of pool identifies the need to dominate melanated races. Why? You look at the symbols, and there's a good book on that called Mankind and Its Symbols by Jung that I suggest y'all buy, but I digress. In the game of pool, you have a white ball. What does that white ball do? It breaks up all the rest of the colored balls. And one by one, that white ball sends a yellow ball in the hole. It sends the red ball in the hole. And how do you win this game of pool? The white ball has to knock the black ball in the hole. Dr. Welsing said that's a symbol of unconscious mind symbol of the need of white supremacy to divide and conquer um, the races on the planet Earth. Now, the real important part about that game is the last ball. In order to win, that black ball needs to go in the hole. That's a distinction. Well, with that, keeping unconscious mind expressing itself in through actions and through reality, through symbols. Y'all look at that diagram at the handgun. This is slightly graphic, but we're all adults. If you look to the left, that is a male's his junk, and you'll see two testicles and a phallus hanging down. Dr. Welsing flipped it and looked at it from the side. If you look at it from the side, guess what you're looking at? You're looking at a handgun. Dr. Welsing argued that that handgun was created because, and I'm going to paraphrase her, but I'm going to make it as close as I can to what she actually said. She said, the brain computer of the European male says, you have weapon that can destroy me. I must develop weapon that can destroy you. And look at the second picture. Look at the top. That's a male genitalia from the side. Look at that revolver. Do they look alike? Yes, they do. And that's not by mistake. I think it was Seventh Ward, Nikki. Am I right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Seventh
Yeah.
Ward.
Good evening. Look, if the story about Carmelo is turning out the way we think it is, he responded how I would expect my son to respond in that situation. Uh, what? And they charging this kid with first degree murder. That sounds like bullshit to me. That's the old "I'm white and I say so" game at work. And I think we need to find out who are the attorneys that charged this kid because they know they're charging him. And I'm thinking we got to start fighting for some laws where we can get these bastards disbarred, and we can
Hello.
start throwing them in jail. Because like this is what I think. I think if you are a prosecutor and you knowfully and willfully hold back evidence that sends a man to death row, and it's found out he's later innocent, and you were the prosecuting attorneys, guess what? You take his place on death row. We got to start thinking like that to stop this shit. With that, I yield the mic.
I was going to say, I don't think many people don't remember this case, but this was in Statesboro, Georgia. It was a black guy with a white mother, and he had a white girlfriend, and they were minding their business, and a white mob got mad at them and started chasing them. And the guy was armed, so he ran. Him and the white girl got in the car and drove off, but the mob was following them, and he got scared. He was being attacked and pursued and threatened, and he shot at the car, and it killed one of the girls in the car, and he was charged like that, even though they knew that that group was, they were an angry mob chasing him. So this is the same thing. They overcharged him, and his white mother couldn't help him, and the white girlfriend disappeared. And he's just standing there having all these charges thrown at him when he didn't do anything except go out with somebody that they just didn't like him going out with. This is a similar case in that he was threatened, and they're just acting like the white people are innocent. Oh, they're just kids, having fun, whooping it up. It's not serious. It is serious when a mob is chasing you in a car and they made you run to your car. It is serious if two bullies are pursuing you and you have a history of being fought by those said bullies. That's a threat to your life, especially if it's two people. One person can kill you. So, how are two people threatening you not a danger? And they should be. You should use a weapon against them, because why would you be able to beat them both up if you're not larger than them and you're not known to be violent and able to handle yourself like that?
Yeah.
Well, too, back in the days, I've heard of so many people telling me stories about their relatives. Wow, my uncle or my father or cousin had to kill a white man, and then they had to flee Mississippi or they had to flee Alabama, and that's how they got to California. I keep hearing those stories. So back in the days, they were being chased down by people. I remember this one guy telling me about how his great great grandfather built a house from scratch, a really nice house made out of wood, and that he ran some businesses off of all of that property. He said the white people used to come start shit with them constantly. And one night they came by banging on this door for something and trying to fight him. And he did something. He either shot him or he killed the person. But he had to take his family. They had to leave in the middle of the night, and that's how their family got to California. So back then, black people knew that they weren't allowed to defend themselves. And this has not changed in 50, 60 years. It just has never changed.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was hoping to try to accomplish today, is to help my dear people understand, or what's the word, to identify, that's the word, identify patterns. I seen a very similar pattern to this a couple years ago that nobody talks about anymore. It's a story of Marnice Declue. Now, this was a FBA little sister. I think she was 15, a baby at school. She was an honor student, and she kept to herself. She minded her business. There was a Caucasian girl named Kaylee Gain who had a record of, allegedly had a record of violence, and allegedly. Well, as reports uh, identified, Marnice was approached by Kaylee and an entourage of girls, and they Kaylee targeted this girl because she was real quiet and real nerdy and too off to herself. And Kaylee assaulted her allegedly. And the little girl, the little chocolate girl, the FBA girl, jumped on her, took her to the ground, and hit her head on the ground one good time. And Kaylee broke out into a seizure. Well, why did self defense standards not apply to Marnice Declue? When I think they had recording, like what do you call it? The security cameras got the girl approach her, surround her, and start messing with her. My question is, why don't self-defense standards seemingly apply to black people? Does it go back to the slave patrols? If you think about the slave patrols, um, after the Georgia Corporation, after Captain Oglethorpe sent degenerates, not my words, words of academic canon, degenerates and debtors from England to keep the Indians, air quote, and black enslaved people in check, the slave patrol were giving full reign to to handle us as they saw fit on behalf of the state. So I'll when I see these type of cases, it reverberates in my mind. Is this some slave patrollism? And the real question is, where are our black attorneys? Why aren't our black lawyers standing up for this? Where are they? I was tempted to one day kind of have a fund or some type of, and if any philanthropists in here are interested, I'm really seriously considering having some type of foundation or fund to pay for FBA students to go to law school under the condition precedent that when you pass the bar, you owe 10 years to the black community. Because I just think, what happened to the Johnny Cochrans of this world? Have we been abandoned by our legal class, or is it just something I'm not comprehending?
Well, Johnny Cochran, he lost a lot of money defending OJ. So it's not, and I know money is not everything, but it takes a lot of. It's very expensive to be a defense attorney. So yeah, I agree with you saying. Yeah, like if you, I wouldn't say 10 years because that's a long time, but I think like if you give 5 years of service, yeah, we'll pay off your loans.
No, 10, and it has to be for specifically for FBAs.
5 year,
That's a
10 is a long
long
time, but
time.
5 years, if we as a community come together and pay for their law school, we could put it in a contract. Like, it's called a condition precedent. We will, this community foundation will pay for your JD free of charge, even give you room and board on the condition that you give us 5 years pro bono service in the black community. And we could dedicate it to certain areas, dedicated to crim law, dedicated to creditors' rights where we get abused. You don't want to know, tell me, don't, I'm gonna get myself in trouble telling y'all how that fucks with us. But crim law, because it looks like we're out here undefended. And here goes the thing that pisses me off. It's our children that are undefended. You know what I'm saying? What is it gonna take, people? I think Nikki, who was next?
Did Jamal go? Jamal has been up here for a while.
Hey,
Go
what's
ahead,
up,
Jamal.
Nikki, Wani, Professor? How y'all doing?
Hey.
All right. Hi.
So I was looking through and I posted the police report for everybody to see. It's in the chat. I was wondering why they had him listed as an adult, and I just found this while you guys were talking. But in the state of Texas, if you're 17, they book you into the county jail. I didn't know that. But I think I just posted that.
I'm getting steam, but go ahead. I
No,
apologize if
you
I'm
good.
getting
You good.
very angry
Yeah,
while you're
I
talking.
posted
I'm sorry.
screenshot is that it says criminal justice system in Texas, 17-year-olds who are arrested are automatically sent to the adult justice system. And that's in the state of Texas. But he's still considered a minor. They still in Texas, they still consider 18 and under, I mean 17 and under as minors. But I guess that's just their way of doing things. At 7, you still going to the county jail. It doesn't mean also that he'll be with adults. I've been to the county jail as a minor. So they probably have like a juvenile side. So he's probably with other juveniles of his age. But yeah.
To your point, brother, I'm glad you gave me the opportunity to expound upon that. You're looking at the 10th Amendment, which our teachers don't really talk about. Like, I think a lot of them don't know. But the 10th Amendment of the United States Constitution generally states states the powers not specifically states, excuse me, the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people. What does that mean? That means that the states in the union uh, have to follow the United States Constitution, right? But the 10th Amendment says the things that basically the powers not delegated by the United States by the Constitution belong to the states. Now, that becomes touchy with issues like this. The main issue that would help y'all understand the 10th Amendment is abortion, right? The state of New York, abortion is, you can have one. State of Texas, last time I read, if you get an abortion, somebody could snitch on you and have you thrown in jail. And anybody who helps you get an abortion, it's illegal, is basically what I'm saying to my pro se understanding. So that sounds like a 10th Amendment issue. Like, uh, basically the 10th Amendment, and I hate saying this because I think it's cap, but the power is relegated to the states or safety. So anything the states deem as safety, they can have their own constitution that doesn't really gel with the United States Constitution. So it gets manipulated. So it's a states' right. So that means we got to be careful what states we live in, because certain states are not friendly to us, and certain friendly states have more friendliness towards FBAs. Was it Xavier next?
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, bro. What's going on?
Okay, this is the situation. Now, when you brought up the situations with lawyers, basically this can all be solved. Do you remember a brother by the name of Professor Black Truth?
Yeah, I like his stuff.
Okay, now he proposed. Now, about right around the time of, I think it was Ferguson or something like that. Right around that time, he proposed actually creating a collective insurance agency, something like that, and it also extended to lawyers. So basically, he was trying to create like a scheme, or shall we say, a plan for collectively recruiting lawyers, insurance agencies, not only to bond us out, but in case the cops were like shooting us up and everything, or if we had to defend ourselves, we could collectively pay into this policy, and a lawyer would be available for us. Not only a lawyer, but actually insurance. That's one thing. Not only that, you also have to look at what's the word I want to say? Let me get my thoughts for set together. The main reason why we do not have a lawyer class is because, unfortunately, for the past 150 years, we've had too much domestic tetherism. Because most of the lawyers that we meet, or that claim to be lawyers, these are all Negro Greeks, all of them. We've had the and You remember back in the 1990s, a brother by the name of Steve Coakley. Steve Coakley actually exposed the existence of the Boule who are recruited from these Negro Greeks. These what's called descendants of mulattoes. This is where you get all that paper. This is where you get all the paper bag and the light skin, dark skin mess, because all these HBCUs were designed to do one thing: to educate these what you call it, these mulatto bastards of these senators and everything, so that they could be an overseer. This is where you get the W.E.B. Du Bois, the NAACP. These same lawyers. See, Johnny Cochran was an outlier. He was not a part of these Negro Greeks. So when you see a Ben Crump,
Well,
uh,
actually, brother, I just wanted to, correct you
I'm
before.
sorry, I don't mean
No,
to
no, no,
interrupt
no,
you.
no, no, no. You're not interrupting. I was going to just let you know that Johnny Cochran was a member of Kappa Alpha Psi, which is a Greek
Okay,
fraternity.
then I stand corrected. My bad. Then he definitely broke bad, because the situation being is that man served us, and he served us unapologetically. He served us with integrity. So again, I stand corrected. Then now, from now, being my premise and everything like that, it's like if you see like a Jasmine Crockett, that tether, she's also throwing up Greek symbols. If you see a Stephen A. Coon, if you see a Steve Harvey, we've always had this group of untalented tenths that have not only dumbed us down, but the thing is, it's like what they've basically done is they've at every turn undermined us. That's what's happened to our lower class. You have to even look at that Fannie Willis situation. That was disgusting. Here it is. You had these coons like Letitia James, Alvin Bragg, Fannie Willis, and all of them. They basically, what's the word I'm gonna say? They basically played a game, and not only that, undermined us. They've never been for Black people. So, not only do we have the foreign tethers, we also have a lot of domestic tetherism. And with that being said, I'll land my plane. I thank you guys. I appreciate all of you.
So, brother, I wasn't trying to correct you on
No,
you.
no, no. It's good.
You're,
No, no. It's good. When you write, you write. No,
no,
no.
no,
You
no.
can't.
I was going to say your premise. You're right. A lot of our organizations have been compromised, and
Well,
I've
they're
been.
not our organizations. I mean, that. See, the thing is, it's like I play a lot of chess, and I go with this: if your hand isn't on that piece, you can't move it. It don't belong to you. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, yeah.
If you, it's a
Well,
captured piece. If you can't touch it, if you did, if you're not playing that piece, see, because the one things that we do is like, unfortunately, when it comes to Negroes, I'm not talking black people. I'm very specific in my vocabulary. When it comes to Negroes think that they can play with everybody's toys, talk a lot of noise from the side, and rah rah rah. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute. If your hand is not on that piece, if you're not moving that pawn, that's not your piece. That belongs to somebody else, or it's captured. It's not on the board. I'm sorry. Finish what you were saying, sir.
no, what you're saying is very true. I just wanted to quickly point out you brought up W. Well, basically, what I'm saying is some of our organizations have been infiltrated, and a W. Du Bois is a good example.
Well, he
Uh,
was fouled to be he was fouled to begin with. So I mean, I mean some of the stuff I read with Carter G. Woodson and the history and just the amount of damage that he did to black people was just it was just whether it was Woodrow Wilson, whether it was going up against Marcus Garvey, whether it was like literally just I mean just the damage he did, and even then he helped he helped destroy the
well,
Niagara movement. I
that's
mean,
what I'm saying
I-
is
I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
he had an agenda in the first place, and
Yeah,
he got in some of our organizations, and well, one of our organizations, and
several.
went to Harvard. Well, some of those aren't our organizations, but I'm gonna leave that
That's
alone.
I agree. Like
But
the NAACP, but go ahead.
yeah, he went to Harvard and kind of made a deal with the devil,
Yeah,
um, and
because he was the devil's bastard, like Dr. John Henry Clark said. Which got the with the book he never wrote. What was it? The role of the bastard in history. But go ahead, sir.
yeah, yeah. But that's all I was saying. Who was next up? Nikki, was it housing?
Yeah, it was either housing. Wait, did
I'll step in if y'all want me to step in.
yeah,
Good
go
evening,
ahead.
everyone.
Go ahead,
Good
housing.
evening.
Hey,
Go ahead.
Hey, Wani, Nikki the God, Professor, the House.
hey.
How you
What's up,
doing?
brother?
My intake on this is that, they white and they say so, back and forth. And, you know, no one's talking about how they had a few GoFundMe for the guy and they took him down. They literally took him down. And you have black people on here saying that nobody should raise money for Carmella.
Who's
Man,
saying that?
what's his name? Charleston White. It's just a matter.
Yeah.
Well, he gets the business. It's just a matter of time. And secondly, he hold on. I had it in my thoughts. You know how you get stuck once you get up here, you know. But anyway, let me slow down. The brother is in good hands. I see good things happening. We know the cards are stacked against him. We know this. And yes, he's being overcharged. And also, we have to look at where's he at? Texas. Very racist state towards the black man down there. He's being charged with capital murder. He was defending himself. And what a lot of people don't like, you have a bunch of white people in favor of Anthony Carmelo. They posting it saying he was defending himself. So we're just going to wait and see. And hopefully they could drop the charge or drop the bail. And already we have $200,000 already raised for him already. And the suspected white supremacies are going crazy just on that. But Daniel Penny, they raised almost close to $4 million for him.
Hmm.
No one's talking about that.
And he's a murderer.
And he's a murderer. He's a coward.
Did he collect that money yet? Cause somebody need to report that down.
No, they ain't gonna say nothing. They gave him that money probably. You know, and you see what he got. He got a slap on the wrist. It was right in New York. He got a slap on the wrist. The fix was already in with him. The fix was in, and
That was murder because you can't say,
absolutely,
I think
absolutely,
someone's
they
going to
murdered that
do something
cold
because they're
blooded.
talking. If that's the precedent we're setting, I would have murdered everybody on the goddamn New York subway.
Wani, I rode the trains
What the
all
hell are we talking about?
Wani, I rode the trains all hours of the night. And it's a lot of people that the elevators just don't go all the way up. But they're not threatening. They're not there to harm you. They just doing what they do. He was not a threat. Michael Jackson was not a threat. He was hungry and he went into his little mall because they said he used to play with the K2. And, he was just going through it, but he wasn't bothering nobody. And also, the time that Daniels went after that boy, it was nothing but a bunch of tethers on that train. That's the only reason why that happened, too.
Well,
I
housing
don't,
brought up a really good point. Housing basically brought up excessive fines. So we really need, FBA family. We need to start working on the youngsters, and I'm encouraging a lot of my undergrads and other students to become attorneys. Um, if you look at my picture, you see I'm in Georgia House of Representatives because we went to Georgia House of Representatives and proposed a bill, but I really did that to encourage them to all become lawyers because where are the lawyers in this young man's case? Does he have a counsel? Well, why am I bringing this up? Look up the Eighth Amendment, another amendment we don't talk about. The Eighth Amendment of the Constitution of the United States clearly states excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishment inflicted. Got it? Well, last time I looked at that young man, his bail, what is it? It's $1 million, isn't it?
yes, Professor, $1 million.
My question to the room is that excessive?
Very excessive.
Everything about this is
Yes,
excessive.
the fix is in already when
Well,
it comes to like putting the highest bail on them, charging with
and
the highest crime. Everything is in from the white perspective side. Every
imagine how he's being mistreated in there while he's there.
that too.
I want to say this though. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Housing, but this is why I came up here. The reason why they charging him with that first degree, because when he got arrested, when the police contacted him, he gave a statement, and even he was like, "Is he all right?"
Right.
And
Yeah.
they're
Gotta
using that against him. You know what I'm
they
saying?
are.
So that's why they're using that against him. So they gonna try to play it as a premeditated, and that's how they get him on the first degree
But
murder.
Twizzo,
But it's not going to stick
Really?
though. It's not going to stick though,
but hold on
but
for a
that's how
minute.
they trying to
Let me
manipulate it. But
piggyback,
yeah,
Twiz.
go ahead. No, go ahead and
Let me
finish.
piggyback. Check it out. That statement also could backfire on the prosecutor because just by him saying that, meaning that
Exactly.
he didn't try to hurt the boy. He was just being protective of himself. Because in Texas,
Right.
Texas has all them other states down there. Stand your ground. Protect yourself first. Is that correct, Professor?
Yes, they
Yes,
do. Yes,
Texas
they
says stand
do.
your ground,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
and he does not have to retreat either.
And listen, he has multiple witnesses on his side.
Right. That's
Even the boy's father has
Yes.
an attitude of, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait. I know that boy's father knows his son is a bully. And I think it's making that boy dying go down smoother. I really do for that father.
But the thing is, Juan, you have people on these apps, and you have white supremacy.
Yeah, they're just racist,
Yeah,
but
they
we
going
don't know
crazy.
what
They
they're
losing their minds.
right. But I heard that man talk, and he's not talking like a person with an innocent son. I hate to say that, and I really feel sorry for him because he's not talking like my son is innocent.
He's standing 10 toes down on being real about it. That's all he's doing.
Yes, he is.
And his peoples do not like that. They saying, shut up. Why you
Right.
running your mouth?
They don't like it.
But it's out there already. And I
It's
land my
just
plane.
It's just like when there was this city where there were some white people standing up holding signs called Black Lives Matter, and there were white people pulling up
That was
asking them, "Hey, what are you
Arkansas.
doing?"
That was
That was
Arkansas.
Arkansas. Yeah, and it's basically, how dare you not be on code with us? Even if you are his father, people just might start attacking the father because he is coming in between
They
their
might.
rights, their right to practice white supremacy against us Negroes.
Well,
I don't know. What does everybody else think?
well, I just want to quickly identify how deep this fear of black men goes and how deeply ingrained it is. Now, Dr. Frances Quest Wells, also in a little brief sentence in her book, identified that I'm paraphrasing her, but on a military level, weapons were created to try to replicate the black male penis. Look in the jumbotron at the cannon, right, and look at it again. What that look like?
You are crazy, Professor.
Eclipse.
You are crazy.
Basketballs and a hammer. Hey,
Oh,
I mean,
Professor.
it's just, it's part of the, yeah. I think a lot of white. I think that's where racism started. Jealousy.
Hey, Nicky the God, it's that post that Charleston White is out there. Can you find it and pull it up? This guy's crazy. Like, come on, what is wrong with you?
Okay,
He's
I'll look for it.
telling he's telling people they shouldn't have no no funds raised for this brother. Like, why would you say something like that?
it's deeply ingrained, that traitorism and that need to please white mommy and white daddy. It's really deep. Like it's a lot deeper than we realize.
It's a few of them out there that's on this app, and they're against Anthony Carmelo, and they have the same skin tone as he does. And I land my plane.
My daddy said all skin folk ain't kin folk. I think we're gonna go to Eclipse, and by James will be next up. I'm sorry, Xavier. Xavier. Go ahead, Xavier Clips and by James. Go ahead, Xavier.
Yeah, just coming on with that, like that Charleston White and everything. I mean, he's just I mean, he's a known snitch. I'm because if you keep constantly looking at him and these people and Minister Malcolm X told us about these fools. If the what is it? If the media is putting these guys on, making them prominent, these are agents. These are coons. I mean, how else do you get a Jesse Jackson or an Al Sharpton or a Charleston White? These are known fads. I mean, not only that, when you're looking at all these preachers that all of a sudden show up on the national news when something jump off, this is their intelligence network. If I mean, I cannot stress the amount of importance it is to study the work of Steve Coakley because he's broken down. He's been telling us about these situations since the 90s. It's ridiculous. And as far as and I have to admit, even when it comes to this young brother, I mean, he kept it 100 because what did Malcolm said? He said, be peaceful, be courteous, obey the law. But if somebody puts their hands on you, send them to the cemetery. Am I right or wrong? Talk black to me.
Well, looking at stuff from a physics standpoint, you're opening a deeper well. We we're looking at psychological warfare with the ideology of turn the other cheek. There's biblical scholars that argue they don't think that that was in the original Bible. Um,
Yeah,
Bobby
what?
Bobby Hemmett said it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you look back to this ideology of non-violence, it was created by the British for
Mm-hmm.
India because
Yep.
was a very important feature in their finances and royal
Mm-hmm.
finances. But Indians, it was a lot of Indians, still are, and the
Mm-hmm.
British had guns, but they came to the realization that it's only 10 of us to 1,000
Mm-hmm.
of them, and our
Mm-hmm.
guns won't matter if they bomb Russia's. So
Exactly.
the English, according to Dick Gregory, used a snitch who was approved of by all their schools named Gandhi. Gandhi
Yeah,
was
I
a
remember him. Yeah, the anti-black, that anti-black bastard from South Africa and everything that was so hardcore anti-black. They sent him in there. But go ahead, finish your thoughts, sir.
I don't think he was from South Africa. Wani, where was
No,
one
no,
Gandhi?
he lived in South. No,
Oh, okay.
before he went back to India,
India.
he lived in South Africa, and he was actually calling for like the he was calling for the murder of the black Africans or the Kafirs on behalf of the and that the Indians were like closer to white than anybody. But no, he was actually trying to stir up like armed conflict between the Indians and the Africans.
Right. Right. Dick Gregory argues that he was a Cambridge, which is the Harvard of
Yeah,
England, or the
yeah,
Yale or whatever, and he despised black people. I have
oh
scholarship that
yeah,
shows that he despised. In one instance, Gandhi waited for them to wash a train off before the
oh yeah.
Dalits would get on. They need to wash the train off before he got on the train. Well, anyway, the British, according to Dick Gregory, got in his head and used him as a weapon of psychological warfare to teach the Indians to turn the other cheek, basically
Mm-hmm.
nonviolence, so they could be conquered easily. Now, I want y'all to watch that tactic, ladies
Can
and
you hold?
gentlemen.
Can you hold that? Can you hold your thought 1 second? Because I'm gonna talk about exactly what you just said. Because the thing is, you know who brought that into the civil rights movement, right?
Yeah, King, I'm getting
Bayard
there.
Rustin.
Give me a minute. Give me a
I'm
minute. I'm
sorry,
going
sir.
there. I'm going there. I'm going
I'm
there.
gonna no. You cook, man.
So Gandhi was brainwashed to bring that ideology to India. Well, he wasn't brainwashed. Uh, Dick Gregory said he was MI6.
He
MI6 is
was.
that James Bond shit. Well, anyway, fast forward about 30 years, and you're looking at the same ideology hidden Dr. King. Now, Dr. King
Mm-hmm.
was innocent, but this nonviolence tactic is
Bayard
psychological
Rustin.
warfare to take you out of logic. Our greatest leaders have said use logic. Neely Fuller,
Mm-hmm.
Tariq, use logic. Well, anyway, logic. I used to teach physics, and logic is simple. Physics is simple. For Newton's second, for every action, there's an equal or opposite reaction.
Reaction.
When you take a hammer and a nail, and you hit the nail on the wall in a split second, for a millisecond, that nail comes back and hits the hammer. That's just the way
Mm-hmm.
that the creator designed the universe. So we've been
Mm-hmm.
taken out of logic.
That's the third law, brother.
Yeah, that's what'd you say, bro?
That's the
Third,
third
Newton's
law,
third. I'm
brother.
sorry. I knew seven was gonna get me. But it's the way the universe was created. For every action, there's an equal or opposite reaction. So the British has taken us out of our mindset of reacting according to nature. You know.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, to be a Negro, I mean, let's understand it. When they took, to be a Negro in itself, you got to be number one out of your mind, because I mean, it's just when they, when they created that Negro, they said, okay, I'm going to slave these people, and I'm going to do something. First thing I got to do is I got to take them out of their minds where they're dependent, independent, and everything like that, and I got to put in my mind where they're working for me for nothing, looking for their Lord. So it's like it's an act of insanity. That's why when we wake up, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Minister Malcolm X said, it's like waking up the so-called dead Negro in the knowledge of self. That's what that's all about. Now, when it came to that whole, you know, Gandhi BS, that was introduced by a tether by a Caribbean tether who was also a same gender sex bedwench named Bayard Rustin. Bayard Rustin brought that mess. And again, Bayard Rustin was a tether, and they were trying to use him to co-opt the civil rights movement and to lead it, but he got caught in the back with two white boys getting bussy holed and everything. We've always had. Oh, you see, you didn't know that. See, and when that didn't work, that's when they recruited Martin Luther King. Because again, who was the and I know somebody knows this. Who's the brother that wrote the book Negroes with Guns?
I don't know that one.
Yeah, well, see, there's a because he was the one that was in. See, he was the one that was that was fighting back against these cave dwellers back in the South and everything, and he was initially going to do it, but he got thrown out the NAACP for fighting back, and Martin Luther King was brought in to replace him.
Yeah, King gets a lot of King was cool. King was just very naive, and people often forget how young Dr. King was. King died when he was
AKA Bayard Rustin and A. Philip Randolph's
King.
protege.
King was
With
very
Bayard
young. I
Rustin.
think it was
Yep.
30. What was he? 38 or
Yeah.
39 when he died. So
Yeah.
that just
38. Yeah. Extremely
think
naive.
about how old he was when he got started. But King was
39, Professor.
39. King was infiltrated at Boston.
Morehouse.
Well, some people say that. I've heard
But even
Boston
before then, yeah,
University.
he had he had an FBI file on him even during like what was it? I think it was his junior high
Well,
years or something.
that's kind of beside the point. The point is that King was spit. He was given this ideology of nonviolence, which was
Hmm.
used on us to
By Bayard
infiltrate us.
Rustin.
And the moment he learned about it is when he got killed.
Yep.
We're gonna move on to a
All right,
clips.
I land. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, clips.
How you doing, family?
We're
I
doing
wanted
well.
to, thank you. I wanted to put out there as well that don't know. You hear the Democrats saying speaking up on this. They want to thinking that they are for us. They want us thinking that they for us, but they ain't even speaking about this right now. All these black Democratic shields and everybody, they not even speaking up like they should. See, that just lets you know we don't have no friends as FBAs on no end, the Republicans or the Democrat side. So we got to keep that in mind and keep and understand that, man. It's us against the world. You see, we got to stay on code and keep fighting for this young brother. We're going to get him up out of this. And I land.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you. Somebody brought up a really good point earlier about we need more lawyers and more DAs. I'll never forget when I wanted to. I used to want to be in crim law, and I was clerking for a judge, and I got to sit in on some cases. I'm not going to say the guy's name, but I watched a white district attorney in Alabama. um I sat in on a grand jury. I wasn't a member of the grand jury. I just watched it as a student. And what I saw that day changed my whole life. I said, I don't want any part of this. What did I see? I saw about 12 cases. For those of you who don't know, a grand jury is just a group of people who sit down, you get charged, you get indicted, um, and the district attorney sits down with the air quotes neutral body, right? Whatever that is, of jurors who decide if they want to persecute the case or not. So we had a whole bunch of about 12 cases of violent crimes, people stabbing their wives, and it was all violent. And I caught a pattern. The DA would read the case and talk about the facts and say bill or no bill. Now, bill in this jurisdiction means prosecute. No bill means to let it go. And you know what I saw? I saw white men who did egregious crimes get no billed. And one of the only cases they got billed that day was a black dude that did this, allegedly did the same crimes they did. And I learned right then and there that justice has very little to do with criminal law. It's all racial. Go ahead, by James.
How you doing this evening, sir? How you doing, Nikki and everyone else?
Doing good, brother. What's on? What's up?
I was just wondering. I had a question in mind, and the question is: Isn't first degree murder that's premeditated? Isn't that considered premeditated?
I'm not. It depends on where you are. What I was, and I can't legally advise anybody. I'm just telling you what I was told years ago.
Right.
It was a crime. My professor said, and you do your own research. I don't know; it's different per jurisdiction, but my professor said that it was a crime plus murder. So the example I gave earlier is somebody. The way I was taught is if somebody walks into a gas station. Um, to rob it, that right there is a crime. You're robbing a gas station. But if while you're there you blow away the gas station attendant, that's a crime plus murder. That's the way it was explained to me, but it could vary per jurisdiction.
Per state. I got you.
Yeah.
For Texas, it
And
is.
my thing is that when you look at what actually Chief Justice Roger Taney said during the Dred Scott case, I think that set the precedence of every law office, every judge, every district attorney, because 95% of district attorneys are white. So it set the precedent right there that we don't have any rights that they're bound to respect. And that's why you see when you were with that grand jury, you didn't see any of the white people get uh, prosecuted, no bill. So I think Taney is the one who actually set the precedence of how we're living today, and what we see there is no justice.
Well,
I,
yeah, it's done real. This done in this case, and it's done real clever. These grand juries. What I saw was it was one black woman on the grand jury. So, she was there just in case, in my opinion. And so they couldn't say, oh, well, see, we had a black one there, but she was carefully picked. And the process of jury selection is called voir dire. And in
hmm
voir dire, the defense and prosecution get together and say, I want her. I want him. I want her. I want him. I don't want him. I strike this jury. So you're looking, this is where psychology comes into play. You're looking at people who have a propensity to give you a favorable result. And anyway, this lady that was on the jury was a old black lady who loved Alabama football, roll tide. So that right there tells you something.
everything
And she
correct.
was she was easily swayed, in my opinion, by the other jurors, but I digress. Go
I
ahead.
land my plane. Go
Yes,
right
sir.
ahead. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Capone, I see you back. What's on your mind?
Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. Thank you for having me, Professor, once again. You and your tutelage and your knowledge, Sister Wani, Sister Nikki. Blessings to my lovely scholar sisters. Yeah, I had a phone call. But yeah, from personal experience, I'm gonna just say that brother, even in California, stood his ground because I had a similar situation where, I mean, I was accosted. The assailants came into my domain and did what they did, and situations were unfortunate. People lost their lives, but I didn't go to jail, got off, but I had my attorney present and everything, and I stayed home. So with us doing what we're doing by supporting this young brother, he should be home. But we are dealing with people we cannot compromise with. So they're just showing you it's still our law. We can do what we want to with your children, your women, and your men. So this is unfair. This is unjust because that young brother should be at home getting ready to go to school in the morning. And with that being said, let's keep donating. I send in $5 a day, as much as I can until I can do more. But yeah, that little brother should not be in jail. This system is unjust, and we do have two standards of law, one for them, one for us. They stayed on that black code. Just because times has changed, their ways have not. And I land on that. Love, peace, reparations, delineations, and deportations. Thank you, Professor, for having me
Oh,
up.
I love it, brother. Thank you for coming. What we're learning here, ladies and gentlemen, is we need more foundational Black American district attorneys. For some reason, that's not a position that we tend to migrate to, but there's a lot of power in that district attorney position. They essentially decide on who to bill and no bill, and we also need criminal court judges because a judge has a whole bunch of discretion. Go ahead, Twizzle.
Just like the Kyle Rittenhouse. You
Oh, yes,
Yes,
sir.
indeed. Yes, indeed. I'm glad we're talking about this because it's something that I was speaking upon. And unfortunately, they're going to try to railroad the young brother because he's in Texas. And we all know how Texas is. Texas is Confederate, the stronghold of the Ku Klux Klan, and one of the most richest white supremacist states out. So we are standing for this brother like that because we already know how Texas is, and we already know Texas is not going to give him a fair share. Like the brother just said, even in California, that's still stand your ground. In California, they are strict as hell. I remember Sister Wani was saying the other day, if somebody break in your house, you have to say, "Who are you? What are you doing? Get out my house. I have a gun. Get out."
That's ridiculous.
If you don't do that and they come in your house and you kill them, you're going to jail. You're going to jail because you didn't let them know and you didn't announce to them that you are armed and prepared to shoot. They could be coming in and just start spraying at you and you stuck. Not only that, if they leaving and you just so accidentally hit them in the back, you're still going down because you didn't give them a chance to leave. You know what I'm saying? California laws are so strict and so ridiculous to where even if you own a gun, you can't own a gun that hold more. than 9 bullets. You know what I'm saying? Due to the postal laws that happen out here in San Francisco. But I want to come up, but I came up because what Xavier said, I 100% agree and I fully endorse. And this is something that I had a disagreement with that actor Isaiah Washington and Mark Carter. I say screw these politicians. Screw trying to get people to run for public office and everything. We need more lawyers. We need more black lawyers. We need more black people fighting for us. When I seen them Muslim lawyers up there in Dearborn, Michigan, stand at that table and say they're holding their vote because they don't have nobody to vote for, that showed power. When I see that office they have of New America and them lawyers in there fighting for all these goddamn Hispanics and these illegals and what they got and how they're progress right now, that let me know that we are doing the wrong thing and we are barking up the wrong tree. We need lawyers. Someone said earlier, ever since the time of Johnny Cochran, they saw what time it was. The dominant society saw what time it was, and they saw that they had to nip that in the bud. That's why they had to get rid of Johnny Cochran because they saw his ability, they saw his power. Not only that, they saw his capabilities and what he can get accomplished and what he could get done and how far he can go. That's why they had to get rid of him. That's why they putting out these new things on the internet now, how CIA got these heart attack and these brain aneurysm guns. You know what I'm saying? Healthy people all of a sudden having a heart attack on having a brain aneurysm out the clear blue sky. Things that make you say, hmm. But this is where I came up because this is something that I support. This is something that I'm very passionate about. And this is something that I'm willing to donate a lot of my funds about. We need to start cultivating our black lawyers. Not only that, we need to start cultivating people in the black financial field in a financial market because as well as we need lawyers, we're gonna need a lot of people to finance them. And once we get into that market, we can control our own entities. We can control our own, our own financial investments for the simple fact we black Americans have the highest financial, the highest spending rate in America. So once we get on that, we can turn that into a fad. We could turn that into a fad. We can divert all our energies from these fake ass athletes and these fake ass entertainers and start investing it into our lawyers and our financial cultivators so we can start getting what we need. Because I'm tired of watching these immigrants getting something that's supposed to be freaking ours. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the room, man, because we all on page, man. As they say, each one teach one. And we are precious steel in here, sharpening each other, man, because I'm learning as we talk. I land my plane, man, and I'm gonna drop down because you probably need more spaces to talk. So I love y'all, man, and nothing you can do about
Oh,
it.
much love.
I
Go ahead.
thanks. I just wanted to say I put three things in the jumbotron. Uh, anybody know what level of coonery this is? Because I don't think this is coonery. This is something far worse.
It's demonic, Wani.
Yeah, I don't know what could make a person say those things really without even
They
knowing the.
they sorry,
You
Sister
you
Wani,
know a
but
lot
what
of
I
people are
believe
saying that
is
that picture is
oh go ahead,
Photoshop.
brother, go ahead.
A lot of people are saying that picture is Photoshop with him with that him and
What
his
pic?
gun in his hand.
Oh, well, I'm just talking about Isaiah Washington wishing that a 17-year-old child is put to death.
Which he
He
can't
has
do.
been
Wow.
he has surrendered. He's been
Did
ultimately
that nigga
broken.
say that?
He's been
Cause
buck
I muted
broken.
that nigga a long time
Yeah, he
ago. Cause I
said
got
that.
tired of
Yeah,
sitting.
Yeah, he said
he's
that.
been on
I
an
got tired
apology
of
He
sitting
tour,
deleted
fanboy
man.
that
with
tweet.
him.
He deleted
Yeah,
that tweet
he's
that I was
on an
trying to find it
apology tour
earlier.
right
No, it
now.
cannot
He
be
he
deleted.
he
I've
tripled
already.
down. He tripled down. He
He
I
got like
can't
three
find it.
tweets
tripled
saying the
down.
same thing.
He tripled down.
Yeah,
I
he
can't
got like
find the
three.
Well,
tweet.
if he did that, he's a silent non grata. Then he need to go back to Ghana, wherever he got his second
Yeah,
thing from. There,
he ain't
man.
one of us. I heard he
That's
ain't
Yeah,
why
one
he
of us.
got fired from that show.
yeah.
Cause he
He
couldn't
he
keep
I
needs to
keep
want
go
his
to
back,
mouth shut.
and
know
this is the
how
nail in the coffin.
can someone like that be created? How? I don't understand that level of
Because he gave up to white society a long time ago. That's why he up here praising him, saying that little boy should, be sent somewhere he shouldn't be sent.
killed,
And what's
given
yeah.
the death penalty for
Yeah,
a
right,
17
right.
year old.
I'm not gonna speak it out my mind because I am a go
Oh,
for it person and I don't like those words spoken amongst my people who are innocent in the actions that they did to defend themselves and preserve their life. That young brother should be at home getting ready for the next game. And what they doing, I'm pissed off. God damn, they lucky I ain't rich.
the
I'll start some
Supreme
shit
Court,
today.
the
Man,
Supreme
you,
Court has already said that they're not going to kill somebody 17 years old. So
that's a fact.
that's wishful thinking. Why
But
is
you see
he?
what's
how
crazy
broken he
is,
is,
Why
Sister
is
Wani.
he
All I'm
wishing
saying.
that?
but your family. Family, check this out. This is what's crazy. This is exposing a lot of coons and a lot of
Facts.
sellouts within our
Facts.
community, man.
Facts.
Because I've been on Facebook beefing with longtime partners, and all they keep saying is, well, if it was black on black, would nobody be
Bro,
saying
they've been
nothing? I'm
saying
like,
that
you
all
stupid
week, bro.
motherfucker. Man, you stupid motherfucker. We from the code. We all know it fuck black on black. When we black people go against, like, if you see a black person stranded, you help him. If you see a black person hungry, you feed him. And if the number one rule, if you see a black person fighting somebody other, you are to help him, whether you know him or not. I'm like, you niggas is forgetting the code. You niggas is forgetting we from the streets. You know what I'm saying? You niggas is on this old jealous old YN old nigga shit. Come on, man.
Man,
The
them
young
yo
brother
man,
did not support. The young brother fought for his life and
in the
won.
military, according to like military standards of procedure, that's what's known as what's called, as far as the uniform code of military justice, that's known as cowardice before the enemy or misbehavior before the enemy.
Yes.
What that
And
does is
that's
that's like
there.
straight up like that's called for summary execution right there. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm sorry, man. When when you have motherfuckers doing shit, that's misbehavior before the enemy. We at war, man. It's like, whoa, hold up. You acting stupid? Oh, I'm sorry. We need to take your head too, nigga.
Well, Twizzle said something earlier that I wanted to kind of back up with some inside information. Twizzle made the allegation that Johnny Cochran was killed. Well, ladies and
He
gentlemen,
was. He
well
was.
in 2006,
In the trial, he was complaining of
yeah, I'm going
headaches,
there. I'm going there, Ward.
and it turns out he was diagnosed with brain cancer.
Check this.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
you
sorry.
good. I was gonna say in 2006, I had a brief. I didn't finish at Georgetown, but I went to Georgetown to study at professional school. And while I was at Georgetown part time, I worked at T-Mobile, the little cell phone company. And I worked at T-Mobile right across the street from the White House. It was T-Mobile East Street. And I had a client one day, a customer, whatever you want to call her, and she was a barrister, it's a black lady, but she was an English lawyer. They're called barristers. And Johnny had just died, but I had a long talk with her, and she took me outside, and she was talking about back then they sold those. Y'all remember them? Those earpieces that you would wear for a cell phone back in the 2000s.
The Bluetooth,
Bluetooth, that's
yes.
it.
Them things you think me headaches out of this world, bro.
They kind of look like Star Trek. Johnny Cochran had one of those, and this English barrister told me that when he got that verdict for OJ, they turned up the like the microwaves on his Bluetooth, and she said that he developed brain cancer right behind that Bluetooth. So according to this random barrister, he was taken out.
Well, definitely. What not only was he taken out, what's called Kardashian, his boy Kardashian was taken out, and F. Lee Bailey was disbarred after that. None of those lawyers are surviving. And the one, I mean, F. Lee Bailey was a solicitor. Was not only he was a famous lawyer. I mean, legendary. They got him disbarred. Then it's like, then all of a sudden you got like, what was Kim Kardashian's father? What's his name? Yeah,
Kardashian.
Armenian.
yeah. He was yo. All of a sudden, he get cancer too. So here it is. You got all these lawyers on OJ's case get what got prematurely dying and everything, and the only
Yeah,
one that's alive, is that Jewish dude who went against OJ later on and was trying to do all types of BS. So yeah, Johnny was yeah
was it Robert
he was
Shapiro?
bumped off. Yeah, that white boy that's trying to quote unquote do that, clean up his image with that innocent project, that Zionist bastard. Yeah, he's the only. Notice he's the only one alive.
That's Barry Sheck and Neufeld.
Hmm.
They've also gotten a lot of black people off death row.
Yeah, it was another guy that's unsung, a real famous lawyer from Montgomery, Alabama, that was on the Cochran team. His name was Jock Smith. I knew him. He died mysteriously too.
It's called pattern recognition. I'm like, wait a minute, now come on, look at all the look at seriously, like look at the whole. What type of percentage does that happen? F. Lee Bailey, F. Lee Bailey gets disbarred. He can't practice law. Cochran dead. Kardashian dead. I mean, not retired, dead. Come on, man. Let's not.
Johnny Cochran, Johnny Cochran, and another thing the barrister told me
Hey,
years
professor,
ago.
check your DM.
Got it. Another thing the barrister told me years ago. She said that Johnny Cochran was working on a reparations claim. I didn't know
No,
what
no,
that
that's true.
was.
He was. He was. No, he was. He actually was. He was about to take. He was about to go to the. He was about to go to up in front of the Supreme Court about reparations. No, yeah, but that's absolutely true. That's not rumor. He was preparing that case and getting ready to go, and especially after what he did for Michael, for Todd Bridges, and after OJ, they're like, oh no, we can't have this nigga here. You come on, you know how they do.
Right,
But go ahead, man.
right on. I think By James was up. By James, have you spoke yet? If not By James, it was Marcus. Go ahead,
How you
Marcus.
guys? How's everybody doing this evening?
Oh, doing well, bro. What's going on?
So I just wanna ask a question. Uh, because I think what happened after this incident happened, a lot of teenagers, a lot of high schoolers started sharing um, some of this information, and we got to understand they are listening to us. So I think what would you say that we need to start talking to the teenagers about when it comes to this
We
case?
we need to start talking to our teenagers about the Constitution. We need history. The critical thing is history. History erases a mystery, and if you know historical events, you know how to avoid them in the future or solve them in the future. Our history is full of brainwash and propaganda, but it's real simple. Our children need to be taught the truth from day one. They need to know where you are, where you stand, what's the history of your people, our people in the nation. And furthermore, they need to be taught more about law and how law works. We need more people. We need more FBAs in House, Congress, House, Senate, in United States Senate, United States Congress, to develop rules for us. But not only do we need rules, it's a one-two punch. You need people in Congress to develop the rules, and like I said earlier, we need district attorneys to enforce the rules. But here goes the fucked up part that nobody wants to hear. We all want that title, but we don't want to do the work. Our brother Claude Anderson taught us before we have politicians, we need an economic base to pay the politicians. So first thing we got to do is get our motherfucking money right. We need to stop spending money on bullshit. I'm talking to myself mostly. And start saving money and investing money into our own communities. How that looks, I don't know, but go by Powernomics. That'll give you a good start on how to do it.
Were you
Okay.
talking about dealing with bullies or something else?
Well, yeah, I would say something like that as well, but also the racial aspect as well. You know, we got a lot of young people out here that don't really know uh, when they're being treated
Why don't
improperly
they
by the
why
other.
don't they why don't they know? What states are we talking to? How are people forgetting racism? What is going on? How do
Well,
we
here,
not know these things?
well, I'll give you just an example. Several months ago, here in Chicago, suburb outside Chicago, a young girl in the middle school, a teacher ended up giving her some cotton to clean at the school. I don't know if you guys might have heard of it. It was on the news, but it might have been just on the local news. And then the teacher had her take the cotton home and finish cleaning it. And the young girl was on the news and she said she didn't know what it meant. So I'm like, okay. So I'm just like, okay, that's not that just doesn't not sound right. I mean,
Are
uh,
parents not telling black children that racism is a thing?
I
Are they
believe
playing
that's
are they
one of
playing it off?
I believe
Um,
that's one of the things that's happening.
what I've seen a lot of, Wani, is go along to get along. There are exceptions here and there, but a lot of our I don't know what we, and it's not our fault. We don't have control over our schools. So inner city schools,
Hmm.
the community has nothing to do with the selection of the principal. It has nothing to do with the selection of the teachers. So you have outsiders. Here goes the fucked up part, really. Inner city schools pay more than the suburbs because, you know what I'm saying? Because, it's high risk. Nobody really wants to work in those areas because they're afraid of getting robbed or whatever. I love inner city schools. But so what ends up happening is since the pay is higher than the nice, quote unquote, nice suburban neighborhoods, you attract people from the suburban neighborhoods working in the inner city who have absolute disdain for black children. They hate them. So if you have a hopeless parent, a parent that feels like they're hopeless and they have children at that school, they're gonna tell the child to do what you got to do to get those grades so we can get you up out of here. So it's kind of a cycle. But we need to have selection over our own teachers and own principals because a lot of
But
saboteurs make it in.
why are American parents, is if what I'm hearing is true, I understand why Caribbean people don't know anything about racism because why would they? They live in all Caribbean places and they come here and not know.
Check your messages.
Okay,
Check your message.
but I don't know why an American parent would neglect to tell their child that, and it's very touchy situation. It's
Mhm.
touchy. You don't want to say, "Hey, white people are racist," and then send your child out there swinging
Right. Yeah.
and kicking up
Yeah.
like Yosemite Sam, but then you don't want them to go out into the world with no defense, with no idea that someone would be harmful to them or um, judge them based on their race. So you have to tell a black child what is going on. You figure it out, okay? Figure it out. That's
Mm-hmm.
part of being a parent. You cannot send your child out there like that, not prepared. Like I said, you don't have to say everybody's doing it. Just say there's a chance that this could happen. There's a chance that you could be treated differently for a reason. So they're not looking stupid and being mistreated at school.
Wani, me and Dr. Umar bump heads, but Dr. Umar is very wise on some of his childhood psychology tips. And one of maybe two things I agree with Dr. Umar on is Umar says if given the chance to send his black male child, to a white suburban high performing high school, or to send his black male child to an inner city low performing high school, he would pick the inner city low performing high school. Why did Umar say that? I'm paraphrasing Umar, but Umar basically said that there's a probability, there's a chance that his child is going to get killed or hurt at that black school physically. But there's also a chance that that child at the black school is going to encounter strong black teachers, strong black male and female teachers who are going to build his self esteem, make him feel like he can achieve his dreams. And he said if you send that black child across the railroad tracks to the high performing white school, there's also a probability that that child's mind is going to be shattered. And he says it's easier to rebuild a body than to rebuild a mind. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. We got Tommy Sotomayor on here. Tommy, what's on your mind,
Yeah,
man?
he's broadcasting for his channel, which he gets paid
Hmm.
off of,
Oh
and
Man,
shit!
he's
Look at
get
exposing
rid of
that.
this
that. Get rid of that
all over the place.
Ashy
Yeah, I'm
bohemian
sick of it.
monkey. What's up,
Get
you
rid of
ashy
that. Get
Get
rid
him
of
up
that
out of
bohemian
here.
coon
breast
ass
monkey?
That's
bastard.
good. He must want some work. What you want,
No,
Tommy?
man, no, don't let this
Man,
motherfucker
look
get
at
money
this
off of us.
nigga. How you
Yo,
see this
fuck
shit?
that fuck
He
nigga.
got me blocked. Hey, get your weak ass out of here with your ashy. Hey, Crispy, what you doing in the black space? You ain't even black, bro. Get out of
Motherfucker
here, Crispy.
David Duke giggling motherfucker. I swear to God, I'll fly the fuck from
All right,
Tokyo
all
just
right,
to
all right.
fuck
That's
him up.
enough. That's enough. That's enough. All right.
Get out of here, Crispy. This ain't your conversation. This
All
black
right,
business.
all right. All right, come on.
No,
Black
man,
business.
no.
Get up out of
I
here.
can't do no, I can't do crispy. Can't do crispy.
All right, Tommy, what's on your mind?
He's trying to get content off of this, and he's going to get paid from it. I'm telling you.
Mm.
I just want y'all all to just hear these adults.
Oh, how do I get?
They're
Suck a
adults.
dick, bitch. Shut your punk ass up.
They're adults.
You coon ass bastard.
Professor,
I
Professor,
think
are
the
you not
people on
shocked at
stage
this
aren't.
level
I
of
don't think they're your
childishness from these
friends.
adults?
You're not even black.
No,
Why
it's
are you
called
in
pattern
here?
recognition.
I mean, I get it, but this is a high
You're not
level of
black. Get your
childishness.
crispy ass out of here, you fucking bohemian monkey.
I
Yo,
believe
man, why don't you find another Russian bitch and kill yourself over, it, motherfucker?
whatever you want to say, sir. Y'all know a lot about me. I know nothing about you.
Yeah, and let's keep it
Sir,
that way.
sir,
Then you'd be quiet, and
why
then
are
you
you
good.
here? You bohemian bush monkey. What the fuck
No
you
matter how
doing in
many
here?
monkeys you call, have you noticed that pro-blacks love to call you what whites call them?
Bro,
They will quickly
bro,
call
this
you
is
what
You
black
a you a
business.
You
Negro
Why are
cannot
white
you
let
here?
supremacist.
This
him.
is black
You
business.
cannot
Why
let
are
him
you
get
here?
paid off of this. You got to
No,
put
man,
him
Motherfucker,
out
you
the
on the
room,
shotgun,
fella.
motherfucker.
you a
You don't
Negro
run it.
white
Got to put him
supremacist.
out the
Get
Why
your
are
room.
little
you
monkey.
hey,
here? You're
I
not
don't
even
want
You
black,
anybody
and
to
bro.
you
call
and
Get
me
out
you
of
and
here.
your
anything
You're
da-
not
ever
even
you and your
black.
negative
damn
today.
bastard babies.
I'd have
You and
no
your
idea if
Beijing
nobody
strand
I've
hairline.
ever
Get
met
the
would
fuck
make
up
me
out
look
of here,
anything
bro.
online that I don't know. No, they would.
Bro, get your weak
This
ass
is
out of
amazing.
here. You finally got
I'll
enough
fly to
Vaseline to
see
put on
you,
them ashy
Tommy.
ass lips and
I
took a
will do
selfie.
that.
Get the fuck up out of here,
Man,
bro.
get up out of here. Get up out of here. Man, get up out of here, monkey
You not
man.
even
Monkey
black, bro.
man. Get
Go,
up out of
don't
here,
you
monkey
got some
man.
white dicks to go suck, you old
And
crispy
if
lip
you
having
notice,
ass motherfucker?
a lot
All
of
right, all
black
right, all right,
folks.
ladies and gentlemen. All
He's
right,
too disruptive,
I'm
man.
sorry,
That's it.
Professor.
No, no,
we,
I'm
we,
we
sorry. He
can't do
just
this,
looked
man.
like
We
us
can't.
and
we've had enough fun. We've had enough fun. All right, let's hear what Tommy has to say. Go ahead, Tommy.
I'm sorry, just to thank you. I've never seen anything like this, and this is anyway. You were talking about schooling just a second ago, and it is an interesting dynamic. I have daughters, and I wouldn't and haven't told them about how strong racism is. But I also would never send my children to a public school. They didn't go to one. They had two choices. They could be homeschooled, or they can go to a private school, in which I then would know exactly what, because you talked about the type of teachers that were going in the inner cities versus other schools. And that is a big thing when you talk about pay. If you're not paying these people the correct amount of money, in my opinion, it's like building a basketball team or a football team. You underpay people, you're not going to get a good product. And a lot of times in inner city schools, you're getting not so good products based upon the fact that people don't want to go there. So I think it is irresponsible, honestly, for any parent to send their kid to a public school, much less a public school that they know is either dangerous or underperforming.
Okay, well,
So Doctor, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Wait,
yeah,
I got a
what
question.
if, hold on one second, Marcus. What if you have a parent who means well? Let's say mom and
Mm-hmm,
daddy are at home and they work at the they work at the factory and they
mm-hmm.
barely making ends meet. They barely making enough money to get gas to drop their child across the way at the little public school. What would you advise of this mom and daddy who are black family who are married?
Mm-hmm.
They both work at the factory. I'm talking about a real family in Memphis, and they doing the best they can for their child at that public school. What should they do?
Well, the one thing that you can do, I know of from when I was in Arizona and then came to Atlanta, one of the things you can do is make sure that your home is in a district because you can see the crime in the place where you're around your home. You can see the type of schools. There are actually good, like in Litchfield, where I was in Arizona. It was one of the top schools in the country, and it was a public school. Now, again, one of the problems is you have to be able to move into those neighborhoods. But what you do is you try to move into those neighborhoods if you cannot afford to be able to homeschool. But here's a thought that I have been saying for years about what I had wished that black folks would do, and be this: build a community. And in the community, what you can have is the people were talking earlier on your show about lawyers and Dr. And Johnny Cochran, and they were 100% right. When you have a strong dynamic voice like that that's able to free their people legally, then you want to get rid of that person. And that would be easy for them to get rid of that person. They don't want to have more people like that. That is why you have the Jasmine Crockett's who don't act like Johnny Cochran. They do performative, but they're not in the courtroom actually freeing anyone. So when you look at it this way, I say create your own environment where everybody in that neighborhood, you can do homeschooling by having a teacher or teachers that live in that neighborhood. And even though you don't want to send your child to a bunch of places in that neighborhood, and there's a couple of them in Florida, I've seen them. where the teachers that move into that neighborhood, they teach all the kids in that neighborhood. So the other parents have to go to school, but they pay that teacher to teach their children. So it is the equivalent of homeschooling because it's there in that neighborhood. I went up to New York, and many people from New York know that the Jews up there have their own police force. A lot of things.
Hey, hold that thought, Tommy. Go ahead, sway me. What's on your mind?
I, um, Good evening, Professor Nikki and Wani. As usual, you all are hosting a great space, and I learn so much from you every night I attend this space. I want to know: is Tommy Sotomayor a freedman?
That's a good question, Tommy. What's your lineage?
Yeah, his pussy hole
Um,
is freed to any man.
um,
Go ahead, Tommy.
these are grown people. That was my parents, my mom, and her mom, and dad, and all of them. They're from Georgia. You can hear from my voice. I'm a Georgia
It's a
boy.
motherfucking lie.
Okay.
So again, okay. So if he's a
Tyreek
freedman,
Nasheed, your master, said he's
Hey, hey,
FBA.
hey, go
He
ahead.
said
Go
it.
ahead. Go ahead, sway me.
so if he's a freedman, why is he acting like he's coming into this space giving us some new information?
He asked me a question and I answered it. Jesus Christ.
But
I didn't
no,
say
no. You talk as if you're outside of our collective.
answered what
And
he
and and
asked.
and I have a problem with a black
What
man
the
being
hell
a
is wrong with you?
minstrel in 2025. A
These are
black American Negro freedman is a minstrel in
I
2025.
can't
Are you
believe the
freaking serious
I
right
mean you're
now?
serious
And being a
minstrel.
power bottom. Shout out Sister
Yes,
Wani.
a power bottom. He's a monkey. Don't forget that.
Well, I'm just saying, you you
I
you
mean,
like
a
you
minstrel,
like you
like
like
the cycling.
adhering to that role
I don't
because
know.
you
I mean,
don't
I keep
Sister
protect
forgetting
your
Sway
like I
Me.
was just
people.
Look,
telling y'all
look at the
things that you
rug.
already
Look at the
knew.
rug burn marks on his face. So he take it
Yes, I
hard from
have
the
rug burn
back.
marks on my
He got
face.
rug burn marks on his face. Only reason how I
Yeah,
know because
yeah,
I have done that to
yeah.
women. He got marks of a
Oh
woman
my
on his
Oh,
face.
he's
God.
So he's the
Stop.
hilarious.
ultimate power bottom. Sister Wani, thank you for that
People
term.
are crazy.
I didn't invent it. I saw it in a paper
Listen
once.
to
Well,
me.
that's his face right there. Look, he got rug burns on his face. So you know he taking it hard from
He
the
got
white man.
rug burns on his face. These are old
I
people.
read questionable material
They're
sometimes.
adults.
Look at his
I,
lips. Crispy
so,
ass lips. He
My
finally got
lips,
some Vaseline
crispy
to put on
eyes.
his
Are you
lips.
look at his
all
lips?
right, guys. That's enough. That's enough. Tommy, I've been FBA. I've been a black man for a long time. I know I'm from the South, but could you explain where your last name came from? Because I don't know any brothers that had that last name. I don't think I've ever met one.
Hold on a second. I'll point something out to you.
Straight out of
Uh,
Panama.
all y'all, y'all this,
And the fact that he will lie, you all just look at this,
what
will
the
lie to your
hell? I get
face.
asked a question and Sway me starts
So
answering.
why in the world would we trust
You don't. How are you trusting me? This is a
anything that
conversation.
a
You don't trust me at
minstrel
all. What are you
says?
trusting me
Yes.
to do? Huh? Tell
I
them what you
think that
trusting me
they're
to do,
coming in.
ma'am.
I could
I
What are
trust
you
you
think
look
that
trusting me
like
to
a
they're
change your
bitch.
What do you want
tires?
me to
What
do?
am I doing, ma'am? That you
Oh yeah, she
trusting me
has
to
to
do?
take the mask
You
off. He
trust
really
Elon
can't hear.
Musk to listen at y'all conversations every time you go live on his
Shut
app?
your bitch ass up.
Shut your bitch
you
ass
not ain't
up.
studying us.
These are adults.
Professor,
Sotomayor, Latin, Caribbean, Bohemian. Get the fuck out of here, bro. You're not even black,
Professor, the
bro.
space was running smooth until he
Wait a
came
minute.
I
in.
I didn't
know.
do
With this
nothing. Y'all did
negative
it. So
positivity,
wait
we
a minute.
already
They
been on
said the
that. So
space
get
was
out of
running
here. You
smooth
op,
until
you a
I
cop,
came.
bro. You're
Y'all
a
are the ones
cop.
who are acting
You are
stupid,
a
not
cop.
me.
You are a
I'm not
cop.
acting stupid.
All right, y'all. Let's get it together. Let's let them speak. What they give us the anthology of your last name? I'm just curious.
Panama.
There's no reason for me to ask. Panama keep coming up. Every time you say, please, let's let them speak.
Panama.
These FBAs apparently don't have no self control.
Panama.
Please,
Go
y'all,
ahead,
let's let
Tommy.
him.
I'm waiting.
Please, y'all, let's let him speak. Come on, guys, let's just let him speak this time. They can't help themselves. This is
Hey,
crazy.
Tommy.
They're
That's
adults.
enough. That's enough. Last name. Explain it.
Oh, there's simple explanation.
All right.
Woo. Okay. Just like y'all have the last name of your captor or The
No,
guy who
we
buck
don't.
raped you.
For the record, all of us don't have the last name of our
I
captor.
didn't say all of you do. I just said about the ones who act like that's a normal name to have. I'm going to point that out.
It
That
is
when you're
normal.
FBA,
It's called
usually
an
you would have
ethno.
a name of the guy who owned you.
It
I don't.
is normal. There was an ethnogenesis, a very serious one. Okay. A lot of us took the names of counties and cities and things around us, and those are still English names. We're from America, and we took the goddamn names that were around us in the country. If you don't like it, tough tits. Where origin is your name from? Is that an African name, sir? Sotomayor? Let me go look that up.
It's Latin.
Yeah. So shut up.
Yeah,
That's the name of what? Your motherfucking captor. Go sit down somewhere.
yeah. Given the fact the majority of the 13 colonies was colonized by the English, we have English last names. So, given the fact your last name's not English, I'm trying to ask, where's your, your father's point of origin? Where's that name coming from?
Panama, Panama.
Dude, why ask me a question when you know your people just going to be silly?
I like
Seriously.
saying Panama.
And
I
then
can't
mute
help
me
it.
so they can then talk uninterrupted.
I like
So I can
muting
say four
you.
words and then just to act
I
silly
don't
again.
like you saying
Don't
four
ask
words.
me anything. I didn't even
I
bother y'all.
don't want to
I
ask
was let up
things.
here. I didn't say a word. Then I was asked, Tommy's here. Let him speak. I haven't did anything to none of y'all. That's what I'll let everybody
You
who's
are
watching
op, cuz we don't
know about
trust you. We
FBAs.
don't trust you,
They
cuz you
invited
are
me
op.
up here just to act like this. I didn't do anything to them. Ain't cussed them out.
You are
Ain't
op,
said a
bro.
word.
You
And
are
then the
op,
man will
bro.
ask me a question.
You
I try
sounding
to
real
answer his
oppish right
question,
now,
and
Mister.
All
they'll
right,
act
all
Hey,
right,
like that.
Tommy. Thank you for your
This is
contribution.
some crazy stuff,
Thank you for
but
your
I like
contribution.
to
We're going to
talk
go
to
on to Austin. Go ahead, Austin.
Thank you
They're
for the
just
mic.
in here to gloat because they want a little boy to get murdered.
Oh my God.
you.
Yeah, thank you for the mic. I just want to say when people, especially who have black skin, but I know why the tethers are doing it. So I'm not saying I excuse the tethers, but I know why they are anti-black, and I know why they want uh, Mr. Anthony to be in trouble. Now, what Isaiah did, that's the equivalent of handing your children over to the KKK. You know, that's the equivalent. He's a child. He had a right to defend himself, even though he is a child. And we need to do everything in our power to make sure that he is well funded. At least $2 to $3 million, guys. We really got to dig deep and make sure he's out of that jam. Um, a couple things that are gonna get us on the right track. I do agree with that idea with the lawyer situation. We need to get that up and running, and we can crowdfund that. We can really do that. So the lawyer thing, and with that, we do need some lawyers, criminal lawyers, and other lawyers as well. So the first thing that I thought about is we need to control the school boards, especially if it's a black area
Preach.
like Detroit, Atlanta, Prince George County. We need to be controlling what our kids are reading, what they're being taught. That's huge. That's going to be able to put us in the right place. And I don't quote me. Different counties and different areas have different rules on how you can get on the school board, but we need to be doing that. This needs to be organized. So that's the first thing. That's first. Also, maybe this is something that I just personally like, but like summer camps for black boys and black girls, not only to instill some life skills in these young children, but a sense of pride, a sense of heritage. A lot of people don't know uh, who they are, and this is my issue with parents today, especially black FBA parents. It's a small issue, not really small, but it's an issue I have. Is we're raising our kids not to see color. We're raising our kids that, oh, everyone's a human being, with no context about history, no context about where we're at. It's just everyone's human beings. you know that's dangerous. It's dangerous just to not teach your children about race.
Why do you think
It's
that's
very dangerous.
happening with this latest group?
100%, 100%. And I'm gonna land my plane.
No,
Thank you
I
guys.
asked you, why do you think that's happening with this latest group?
Oh well, I think it's a lot of having their heads in the sand. Very, very idealistic, right? They're teaching their kids what they want the whole world to teach their kids, and it's not true. White parents are teaching their children to be racist from birth, to have this in-group preference, and we're not teaching our children to be aware of the racism, and not only that, but to also have this in-group preference. We have to prefer our own people. You know, on
No,
any
we're
situation.
being taught now to ignore white racism, and we were already taught to ignore ethnic bigotry from immigrants of African descent. So we are really in the dark.
Yeah, 100%. And we're doing a great disservice to our children.
I agree with that. And we need to keep in mind we need our own scholars, particularly in the areas of history and mathematics. I've taken a leadership position in education and wrote. I'm writing a curriculum. If you want to purchase the first part of my curriculum, put $25 on Our Story Publications in the jumbotron and put your full address and zip, and I'll send you out a curriculum for history from 1492 to 1796. The next volume is coming out in a couple of months. In addition, you can see Wani Spots and Nikki the Guys Cash App. Show them love for all their scholarship. I appreciate your contribution. We're going to go on to FBA Furball. What's on your mind, man?
What's up, family? It's your nigga Furbeezy in this bitch. So,
What it do?
what's up, Professor? I came in and I was a little frustrated at Brother Tommy because I don't understand the vitriol that he has towards FBA or Brother Tariq, and I don't like it. So that's the question I have for him. Why is so much vitriol that you have towards our brother, great brother Tariq, who has that motherfucking ass nigga? And I ain't never liked you, Tommy. I just want you to know that. So yeah, what is your vitriol towards FBA? Since you say you is FBA, what's your vitriol towards us? What's up?
Oh, I'm not playing that
Speak,
game
monkey.
again. Y'all ain't. As soon as I start talking, they gonna start. No, I'm good. No, y'all
We
ruled me
giving you
enough.
time to
I'm
speak,
just
you
listening
bohemian
now.
monkey.
I'm just
Now speak
listening.
your piece or shut your musty ass mouth. Go ahead, you bohemian bush monkey. Speak.
Oh my, y'all. Oh
All right,
my.
guys. Yeah,
Speak, boy.
Tommy, that's a good question. What's your feeling towards FBA
No, sir. I'm
lineage?
not gonna play that game. All y'all gonna do is insult me. Go ahead.
I
You gonna
said
insult
speak,
me?
boy.
Go
Speak your
on.
piece now,
Seriously,
boy.
leave me. I'm not. Y'all childish. If y'all want to keep this up, I don't know why.
I am
I'm just
definitely
here listening
childish.
now. Leave me alone now.
That's
Stop your
not
tether
I've
babble
debatable.
been
and
nothing but
speak
nice
your
to y'all.
piece.
Go on about your business now. I'm just watching.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go on to Shanice. Shanice, what are your thoughts on this matter, ma'am?
Hi.
Hey,
My thoughts are we need to keep pushing because this is definitely going to be a fight. I've been trying to read up on everything because I went for a forensics degree. So I kind of have a little bit of idea of what they may try to do. And for Tommy, this is faceless. How are you, Thomas? Are you still mad that your mom doesn't love you because you're a dad? And that's why you're here harassing us? Remember when you asked me to come onto your show so we could have a conversation? Remember that. But you blocked me because you're a bitch. And I hope you guys have the great rest of your day because I have to go back to work now. I love you all. Black first. Fuck you, Tommy.
have a good one, Shanice.
Why did you block her, Tommy? What is wrong with you? That's ignorant.
Go ahead, Sway Me. You had a comment?
Tommy, did you block her, Tommy? Tommy, did you block her? Tommy can't hear. Tommy's on the phone or something.
Yeah, he did. He got me blocked too. And then he
He
gonna
got a
change
big
his
dick in his
profile
mouth.
picture to an ashy ass Walmart church fit. Look at hella ass. How your chest ashy, nigga? You was better off in the last picture. Ugly ass motherfucker.
Oh God.
Go, go ahead,
Taking a
Sway Me.
picture with an ashy ass chest. Yo, look at this nigga profile picture. I bet you look at the
I'm not
white
going
man.
to
I'm
do all
praising the
that.
white man. About to be a power bottom with all them rug burns on his face and shit.
All right, Capone. Go ahead, Sway Me. You had a
I'm
comment.
sorry, Professor. I'm sorry. He
You
just
good?
got me triggered talking about my people. I'm sorry. I apologize. I concede. I'm sorry.
You good, bro? Go ahead, Sway Me. I can't hear. Can y'all hear?
No, she might not be talking yet. Sway
I
me.
think.
Her mic might be messed up.
Okay, I'm trying to let some more people up. Could if you already spoken, can you go ahead and drop down so I can let some more people up? We got a lot of speakers in here. If y'all hadn't already, share out the room. We're asking, are FBAs allowed to defend themselves? Because according to the panel, there's a double standard, allegedly a double standard in the legal system. Is there? I'm just asking a question. I'm not making a statement. What do we think? What do you think, the Mrs. Mrs. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
What's your thoughts?
I'm sorry, it had cut off. Can you repeat the question?
Are FBAs allowed to defend themselves?
You would think so, honestly, but it just seems like when we do defend ourselves, we are condemned by death. If you get what I'm saying.
Are you're FBA?
Of course, I am.
Oh, okay. Where are your parents from?
Well, my mom is from New York. My dad is from Baltimore. My grandfather is from North Carolina. My great grandmother from Virginia. My mom's dad is from Ohio. They all over the place.
Okay. All right.
I'm Black American, Black
Got
American.
it. Got it. Okay, so can you can continue?
Oh yeah. I just feel like when we do decide to defend ourselves, especially when we're like singled out, it's more of like the white community that attacks that single black person. But when we're in a group, kind of like that, I don't know the name of the group that's in Ohio that dresses like in like a ski mask and they are armed. You don't really see an outrage about that. It just seems like when we do defend ourselves and we're by ourselves, that's when we get more of a situation where we get gained on, if you get what I'm saying. But I feel like yes, we should be able to defend ourselves, but when we do defend ourselves, it's like we should it's like by the eyes of the white people we shouldn't defend ourselves. It's like we should be tormented by them. We should put up with what they're saying about us or to our face, or we should put up with them antagonizing us. But as soon as we do defend ourselves, it's an automatic, oh, put that 16-year-old, classify him as an adult, put him in a adult jail, don't put him in a juvenile. He probably come from a bad background, his mother is probably on food stamps. It's always that narrative.
Yeah, it's seemingly we're battling a narrative. I know a lot of y'all are new to the space. Early in the space, I brought up another case of Marnice Declue. Now she's already been forgotten, but she was a baby, a 15-year-old girl in a high school in St. Louis who was attacked by an entourage led by a member of the dominant society. She was attacked. She was assaulted and battered, and she responded in kind after she was attacked. Now, Marnice was a little bit bigger bone than the girl that attacked her. Marnice hit the girl. The girl fell and hit her head on the concrete and had a seizure. And I remember Marnice going to jail, and the other girl was not charged, to my recollection. So why do we keep seeing these patterns of foundational Black American children defending themselves and being charged and treated as adults? If you look at Mr. Anthony's case, CBS reported that he has $1 million bail. Number one, why is he being charged with first degree murder? Any attorneys in here that would love? I would love for you to explain this to me because I just don't understand. Why is he being charged with first degree murder? Why is he being charged at all?
Public
And
pressure.
furthermore, why does he have $1 million bail? Somebody help me understand.
Public pressure.
Wow. Tell us more, Wani.
It's just not legitimate. I mean, that's not first degree murder.
And may I add, if you don't mind, Professor? Hi, Wani. Hi, Nikki.
Hey.
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, yeah, Kyle Rittenhouse murder was caught on film,
Right.
and he was barely charged with anything. He was able to write a book. He was able. I think he was. He had like a contract with a game, and he was able to produce a game or something like that. He all smiles, and he was never charged. But yet, this crime was not filmed, and we're just going off of he say she say, and he's being charged as an adult with $1 million bond.
Am I making this up, or was George Zimmerman able to get the gun back that he shot Trayvon with?
All of those people are murderers.
They get treated. I'm
I
not the
mean,
smartest
they
guy.
drive from another state with a gun they're not supposed to have to murder some people just because, and then claim it's self defense. You came over there. Anyway, they're all murderers, and we're not allowed to defend ourselves, but we're going to defend ourselves, so whether they like it or not. And we'll just have to have these fights every time that we do defend ourselves.
That's the purpose of this space, ladies and gentlemen, is to analyze and try to come to a conclusion as to why seemingly FBA children and adults do not get the ability to defend themselves. And if you juxtapose that with the dominant society, somebody mentioned Kyle Rittenhouse, Daniel Penny, the list goes on ad infinitum of the tables being turned and these people not doing jail time. I'm just trying to understand it. Tariq for president, can you please explain it to me?
Well, you have to realize. Well, good evening, everybody. Well, I guess it's 12 o'clock here, right, man? So good morning. Um, what you have to realize is that the rules, when the Constitution and certain laws was made, it was never made to work for us. It was always made to work against us.
Preach.
So to answer your question, yes, George Zimmerman was allowed to get the gun back, and remember he tried to sell it on Gun Broker, but it was such an uproar about it that the gun broker took it down. But yes, he was allowed to get the gun back, and he was actually selling it on an app called Gun Broker because that's where I get all my firearms at. Um, but yeah, the rules don't go. They definitely work against us. Kyle Rittenhouse, he assassinated a couple people. And if you really looked at that court case, he was giving so many dog whistles to the judge, and the judge just dismissed everything that the prosecution had, so they wasn't able to play defense at all, so yeah, it definitely. And I think Kyle Rittenhouse is, what was he, like 18 or 19? He wasn't too much older than Camilla.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, we all know the truth. Really, we speaking on the topic, but really, brother, you know the answer to, and I know the answer to, and everybody in the space knows the answer to, you know but do you mind if I mention something about Tommy Sotomayor real quick?
Well, I'm gonna let you get your comment off, but I want to first off acknowledge something you said. He said that when the rules were set up, they didn't apply to us. Now, unfortunately, what Mr. Tariq for president said was true. If you think about the preamble to the Constitution of the United States, which is essentially the United States' rule guidelines or rules, what does it say? It says, "We the people." Stop right there. In
Right.
1776, were Black Americans considered people? No, we were
No,
considered
we was not.
chattel.
We was less than human. We was considered less than human.
So,
Yes.
unfortunately, what Tariq for president said was true. Tariq, make your comment, and we'll move on to the next speaker. We're about to close the space.
Okay.
We're going to get three more speakers, and then we'll call it a day. Go ahead.
Okay. And I don't want to take up everybody's time, but this is to anybody who really have a disdain for Tommy Sotomayor. I'm gonna say this. I don't agree with everything that Tommy Sotomayor says, but this is my thing. If don't nobody like what Tommy Sotomayor has to say, don't listen to him. Plain and simple. Going back and forth with him is really not going to stop the people that listen to him, and it's not going to stop from him making his point and him continue to go online and say whatever opinion or whatever logic that he has. If you don't like Tommy Sotomayor, what he has to say, don't listen to him. Don't talk to him. And I'll land my plane at that. Everybody have a good night.
All right, bro. We're going to go with your mom's favorite. What's on your mind?
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. So the system of white supremacy teaches little kids that they are little white kids that they are gods. So they grow up with that mentality. And being that I was an ex-track coach in the past and a track star in my lifetime, they bully. They bully on rainy days. They bully indoor. They bully. This is what they do. And if they can intimidate, that's what they'll do. And they try to start young because that is the process. You get if they get a plant that seed young, you got them. And that's all. That's all. That's all it is. That's all. That's all I have.
Yeah, I identified in my book, my first book, that this racial hierarchy is set forth in the money. America uh, uh, is a nation of laws that operates off of money. It's a capitalist society, and if you look at the money, um, identify the lowest value of money in this country. It's a penny. What color is that penny?
A young Brown.
Right. And when you go beyond the lowest value, what color does the change turn into?
Well, they established the color barrier, which is the black. This is all a it's a race war. We're in a race war. And once we teach our children and understand as a whole, FBA understand as a whole that we are in a race war, we'll be fine because we have everything already. We've already established everything for ourselves. Yeah, infrastructure is already here. We just have to control it ourselves.
Right. So just be mindful of the social hierarchy that's been established in this country with respect to educational psychology. It's a lot to think about. We're gonna go to FBA Trade Day.
Black Power and reparations, everybody. Uh, what's up, Nikki, Wani, Professor? Let me give individual shout outs.
Don't listen to him like
Because
don't listen
I
to him,
see
man.
y'all about whole ass Tommy up here. Oh, is he gone? Oh, okay. Uh, Yeah, because he's sitting up here, he's stealing content. He's stealing content and putting it on Rumble and shit like that.
Why?
I just wanted to, yeah, I just wanted to just tell him if he was up here. He's a bitch, and he got ass
Don't
whoopings
listen to
waiting
him,
for him if
man.
he's walking about.
It's
He is a coon amongst coons. He preaches for the violence against black women
just don't
every
listen to
day
him.
while getting smacked in the motherfucking mouth by grown black men, getting ran up on, getting toys put up in his face and shit. He don't swing on niggas, but yeah, he had me on his show like 6 months ago, and he did everybody, like Tariq said he did. And so he's a bitch. And he's gone now, but I just wanted to say it to his face, or at least on this motherfucker. As close as I can get to him. Nobody put this on YouTube. This goes on my YouTube channel or New Black Media. I'm just being honest. Don't put this because because when I say something about it or something sent to you, I get called all types of bitches. But we already made it clear. Don't record this and post it nowhere. With all love.
Oh yeah, if y'all want to catch the replays of this, check out Nikki the Gods on YouTube channel. All rights reserved. Don't catch a copyright strike. Go ahead, Average Black. I ain't seen you in a minute. What's on your mind, man?
Hey, Hunk, go ahead. Go ahead and talk. You welcome here, Average.
Go ahead, Average. I didn't let him up. I thought I let him up.
Oh,
Go
you
ahead,
let
Average Black.
oh. Go ahead.
Good evening to the room, man. I appreciate you guys for having the space. Professor Nikki, Wani, thank you for having this space. Wonderful question being asked. And I just want to say good evening to everybody in the room. Been missing y'all. So, hello, everybody. Um, yeah, I saw Tommy was up here. That's funny. I heard people were roasting him. But to speak to before I even go into the issues there, the putting the targets on our women thing, how problematic that is. Um, it's pretty obvious that we have two different justice systems here. And we're dealing with a very demonic people who are so sick that they can't even acknowledge there's two different justice systems. They acknowledge it with their speech, obviously, when they say things like, hey, you want to bet what's going to happen to him? You want to bet what's going to happen to him? Some of them even went as far as to say, I quote posted somebody saying that an N word doesn't deserve the right to defend themselves, and none of them should be allowed to ever defend themselves, basically. And I'm like, the psychology of having that in your mind to want people to be sitting targets at your whim. You know, I hate to say it, but like, I hope this starts a trend, honestly. And to any white supremacists listening, we're not going to be sitting ducks. Yeah. I mean, he still gets to. Austin is in the ground.
and our young king is still alive and going to fight this beast like we always have to do. And that's a better outcome than him being beat to death and you guys saying thoughts and prayers. That's a way better outcome. And that's messed up to even think or say, like, but I'm having such a hard time feeling sorry for his family. Yeah, I know that kid bled out from his chest, got stabbed in the chest. No, I didn't want it to happen. But damn, if you just don't, if you keep your hands to yourself, none of that happens. And they think they walk around with this arrogance and this entitlement, thinking that I'm going to deputize myself to enforce some made up statute or law that I know the system will back me in doing. And should a black person get harmed, I'll be fine. Or if I get harmed, God forbid, in my stead, they're going to stick up for me and bring consequences to that black person. Somebody said they raise these kids to think they're gods, and it's like there's no consequence there. They raise them to not ever have consequence. They fear consequence, and this was about consequence. It's their worst fear, a black person fighting back. And it was two of them. He wasn't just attacked by, it wasn't a one-on-one, it was two of them. They both went over there, engaged that kid, and decided he had to move. You know what I'm saying? And this is this is 2025 Rosa Parks. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Rose Parks had a knife in his bag, and he said, "Back the fuck up." And you didn't. And you thought you was gonna put hands on him, and you got it in the chest, and you bled the fuck out. And that's what can happen sometimes when you mess with somebody thinking you're going to hurt them. And that was Texas, a stand your ground state. Now, if the law ain't the law, then let's get rid of the law. And even worse than this, or better than this, is if you're going to have laws and have, chosen enforcement or whatever, and you really do want to say, hey, there's two different justice systems, then dare I say we don't have to obey by any fucking laws. We don't have to obey by none of your laws because they're not moral. They don't have any ethics. What do they stand on? Why do I have to pull over when I see your cop? Why don't I just fight every time I see him? Why don't we just make it a big, huge fucking war zone? And then when our enemies converge on us and America just becomes a divided, pushed off thing or whatever, then we'll, oh, you know what? Look what happened. Look what happened. So that's a problem. That is a problem. And so y'all hear in the background, I'm so sorry. They're getting on my damn nerves. They don't care. They are enforcing. Hey, will you shut up? I'm on the phone. Damn. Okay, I went in here to hide from y'all. Okay, you keep They bothering s- me. they I'm sound adorable.
Totally adorable.
They sound adorable. so sorry. I'm about to change. I'm gonna change rooms. But no, I got you, baby. 2 minutes. Give me 30 seconds, okay? I got you. Damn. Anyways, I'm back. But but what was I saying? Oh, last to land my plane. Tommy Sotomayor. So this manosphere thing that Kevin Samuels just really pushed up, and he was about the black family. He said it all the time, but of course those clips, they don't get amplified. It's always average at best. But he was hard on black men, real hard on black men. Those clips don't get amplified. It's always the average at best clips, or when he made jokes about black women or whatever. And so people thought, oh, he hates black women. No, he was about the black family. You know what I'm saying? And now these idiots like Tommy Sotomayor and Andrew Tate and Fresh and Fit and all of that, what do? They make it about being anti-black female, putting targets on our women, and they're not solutionary. Now, a man is supposed to use his brain and lead and think and have solutions. And this is literally just about amplifying white supremacy and targeting on women and having everything to say about it. Oh, well, I'm just, there's problems in the black community, so I'm just highlighting you're not, but you have no solutions. You have none. And you are putting a target on people who are already unprotected. And also at the end of that, really, it's low key population control and it's genocidal to say that the only women that I can truly reproduce my own kind with, aren't good enough, and I should look elsewhere. That's complete and utter foolery, and it's really death. So I just want to say thank you guys. I'm sorry for the background noise of my kids. Love you all, and I appreciate you letting me speak.
So,
Hey, can I say something real quick? Them niggas was
yeah.
250 pounds.
Oh
Them niggas was
no.
250. Them niggas was Kane and the Undertaker running up on that nigga to double choke slam him through a table, and he stabbed them motherfuckers. That's what happened. I mean, them was some
I'm
big corn
glad
fed
that he
niggas,
did.
white boys. I mean, they're not niggas, but white boys. So yeah, that's a detail they really ain't talking about. Them boys was 250
So they did
plus.
mention their weight and height differences.
Yeah,
So my
yeah.
question is real we can go back to that one little comment. People that talk like, okay, if I would post every day, Chinese men suck, I don't like them, they look like this, they look like that, they're all this way, they're all that way. What would you think about me? Every day I'm posting about Chinese men. You would think I had a hang up with Chinese men.
Facts.
So why don't they see that we can see through them? If you don't like black women, there's billions of people on the earth. You can date anybody you want. Nobody wants these people. Nobody cares. Black women are not going to cry down the street if these foreign men and coons go somewhere else. Who cares? But they don't do it. Why don't they get white women and shut up? Because that's the part I don't understand. Because that guy, Sodar that was in here, he said, "Oh, I feel so much better that I don't, I'm dating some Asian girl or something, and I'm not hung up on black women not being perfect or not being what I want." But then he was still mad at black women. Like, why? Go on somewhere. I don't get it.
Yeah, yeah, it's an obsession. If you listen to what other people say, they'll tell you who you are. And Dr.
Right.
French, what'd you say?
No, I was gonna say real quick,
Go
when
ahead.
you were talking about the school, my father went to an all-black school, and his self-esteem was way better than mine. I went to school with different people. So there is a benefit, a a real benefit to going to school with your own group, at least until your whole little personality forms. Then you can mix in with other people and get to know other groups fine. But when you grow up with them and you hear the little comments and you have to be fearful and kind of concerned that people might be racist, that's damaging. So the comment that he would rather have his child go to a dangerous school, that does have some merit, but I don't want my child to go to a dangerous school with bullets flying over their heads. So not that extreme, but I do agree. I think it's very detrimental to throw your child in a school like that because when they're developing, then all of a sudden they're going to start identifying as white. They're going to think that they're not going to have any rapport with Black Americans. And that's another problem. You might be getting a good education, but are you? Or are you just getting indoctrination? Because these people that they're pumping out of these schools are dumber than hell. They don't even know basic history. We find ourselves teaching white people all the time, so they're not in some elite schools becoming intelligent. I mean, I'm sorry, it's just not a
Are you,
thing.
Lonnie? Sorry, Nikki. Are you referring to what Tommy Rosado was saying?
Who, me?
Yes,
Which thing did he
because
say?
he was saying something like that. He was saying something like that at the beginning when he first started talking. He
Mm-hmm.
was talking about the private schools.
Right.
Okay, yeah,
Well,
that's the question I wanted to ask him then, because
well,
that
what
didn't
what he
make
was
any sense.
what he was saying was not sequitur. It was just talking because a mom and daddy who are barely making ends meet don't have money to send their kids off to a private school, and guess what? They
Thank
don't else they
you.
don't have.
Thank
They don't have time to homeschool, so it's just not realistic. But I want to piggyback off what Wani was saying. Why are they so obsessed with us? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we often are the only people who don't know who we are. Everybody else on the playground know who the foundational Black American is. According to Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, the gun is not the only weapon in the white supremacy culture that in the form and function is symbolic of a functioning male genitalia apparatus. The cannon with its wheels and long black nozzle or tube and the big black cannon balls shoot out as projectiles is one example. Similarly, bullets and bombs are dark colored and resemble individual sperm and general shape and form. And it is further importance that this gun and these other weapons are usually painted black or at least dark in color. What Welsing is saying is there is an obsession on us particularly the black male, there is a deep down obsession for trying to create something that was not created for them. What does that mean? That means they know who we are. And oftentimes we don't know who we are. We don't know our own power. I'm going to go with a couple more people. We got a lot of people in here. We'll go with Charcutie Badu. Charcutie Badu, if I'm saying it wrong.
What, what's going on? Peace to you, Professor. It's Shakutery, by the way. What's up?
Okay.
What's up? What going on, Wani? Nikki, the God, peace to y'all. Wani, I see you doing your thing. I can't wait to see you on Hidden Colors. That's a beautiful feat. Um, I just wanted to say that, of course, everybody is talking about Tommy. We all know he's a whole hoe out here. Well, I don't even know why we going on, like that. I done roasted this motherfucker 100,000 times. Like, he ain't on really too much and then yeah, like you said, one, I still don't understand why he has an Asian woman and still talking about black women like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it still must be on his mind. I don't know who hurt him. You know what I'm saying? But fuck it, did what I say. Shit, just talk about an Asian girlfriend and shit. He got an Asian girlfriend and she ain't all the way right upstairs. Her name is Something Wong. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Just say something. Shit, fuck it. But I just want to say this. I've been watching the story of our good brother out there in Texas. Free my dog Carmelo. You know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is, the more you fuck around, the more you gonna find out. And I'm glad that us as black people is retaliating and we are sticking behind our people. Let these folk be mad. You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't nothing but, you know how they say, it's all publicity. You know what I'm saying? These SWS folks, they've been retweeting and reposting talking about the alleged killers doing this and doing that. Guess what we gonna do? We gonna keep raising that money. Go ahead, keep going. Go ahead, just keep going. We gonna keep raising that money. You dig? I'm sure everybody has contributed. I'm contributing myself. So let's just keep that good brother lifted, and he will be acquitted. And I also want to say shout out to my dog Arthur Watkins, man. He has been doing a great job out here, boots on the ground. I really can't wait to meet that dude. He has been doing a phenomenal job. And if you haven't contributed to the Freeman Legal Fund, please do so because we really need to back that brother up 110%. He's doing a great job out here. And I'm going to yield it like that. Peace, power, reparations to y'all.
No doubt. Appreciate your contribution. We're gonna go Miss KT. Go ahead, KT.
Early morning. How is everybody?
Doing well, doing well.
Peace, KT. Peace.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead, hon. Go ahead.
Yes. Thank you, Professor Wani and Nikki, for having me on the board. I I wanted to start by saying that sad to say that because of the system that was made, manifested, and used to protect the majority, no, to them it is not allowed for us to defend ourselves. Um, it is truly sad that earlier there was a space, I believe it was Kyle Seraphin. Some of us was in that space, and there were some people that were basically saying that, it's not about color, it's not about race, or whatever they were trying to say, and that with us being Christian, that he should be judged by divine law. And I had to get out of that space because it was very it shouldn't have been, but it was shocking to hear some of us that were trying to uh, have a comrade with some of these people that were saying that, and it was really sad to hear that. I think I am very glad that we do have that everybody has been really coming together to help him get the best defense and to also help him get out. I don't have any lawyers in my family, but I have heard from friends that do have lawyers in their family, that when they give you a high bond like that, it is simply because, and this has probably already been talked about, but majority of the time they give you a high bond like that because they know you can't afford it. So it would keep him in there, and to basically put us on this other end of not being able to give them a good defense, or persons. So I'm really glad that we all came together. I'm really grateful to see uh, that you know the money that's being raised for him. I had contributed myself. I couldn't put that down. uh, and whoever is defending him, I do have high confidence that he will be out with the simple thing of self-defense and the stand your ground, simply because that is their law over there. So um, I really I've been noticing that, especially in that space when they were talking about that, trying to say that it shouldn't be about race. Well, what is it really about then? I mean, please tell me. It's like really trying to talk to a wall when it comes to them. So I had to leave that space. And another thing, uh, as far as the what we could do about it from here on out. No, some of us still have jobs, so we can't just take our babies out of the public school system. Some of us that do have our children in private school system, we do need to take more um, action, and really put that towards really teaching them about what white supremacy really is. Just like it was mentioned earlier from Neely Fuller, if you don't really know what it is, it's just going to be confusing. And I will be one to testify that, sad to say, I wasn't taught that. So I had to learn the hard way. There's so many experiences that I could list, and it was just like, dang, like when I started reading Foundational Black American Race Baiter, I was like right in front of my face. I never knew it until I had read that book. So I'm sorry, I'm kind of getting a little compassionate because,
No, go ahead. That book is powerful. It's everything it's everything all of us experience while trying to work around these people.
yes, yes, absolutely. So we do have more tools. We have Professor's book, we have Wani's book. We can really, I mean, we have Francis Krauss Welsing. We have all of the tools
Preach.
that we have to, really, we can map this out in sections for our children, and really show that to them. Have them, okay, we're going to read this section a day, okay, we're going to read this paragraph, even if it's just a page a day. we have we have the tools to really be more proactive, and really teaching our children what they need to really be looking out for. This is serious. We don't really, some of us, I'll say, especially with some of us that I've heard in that space earlier, it never mind the fact that this is very severe, that with our children, even with them being in public school systems, they still have to defend themselves because we've had an influx of immigrants. I have memories of dealing with immigrants, fights that would take place, having to be there for my brother. You know what I'm saying? Because when I was in Florida, this was when I was in grade school, like in elementary, at the time when my parents were split, and I was in Florida. And you had this thing with the Haitians. They were literally in one spot. So it's not to put them out like that. I'm just saying this is an example, like, what we don't really know about, and what we don't really talk about with our children, they end up having to find out when they get out there. So, yeah, we definitely have the tools. We can be definitely more proactive. And especially for us that, we can't really teach our children at home, just like the brother said earlier, we can definitely be more proactive when it comes to being in the schools, and you know you know, like being at the meetings and looking at their curriculum. What are they teaching the children? So I'll land there. And I really thank you all for having me in the space. And
No, thank you for
congratulations,
coming up.
Wani,
Oh yeah,
for
thank you for coming up. I wanted to piggyback off what she said. My father, some of you know the story. Those of you that don't, I was in a very dangerous neighborhood at A.H. Parker High School in Birmingham near West End, and I almost got killed. A couple girls was liking on me, and one of them that's liking on me, boyfriend was a big time gang dude. And like I kind of got caught in some shootouts, and my dad, with a bachelor's degree in history, took a job at a gas station and McDonald's to put me and my little sister in the rich white high school. He got an apartment that was zoned for us that he couldn't afford, and I can kind of vouch for that. The danger of going to these high SES, is what teachers call socioeconomic status, white high schools, is the danger is you start to think, you get to thinking, and you're brainwashed into thinking that the world for you is going to be the same as the world for the white kids. I thought as long as I went to school and was a good boy and did what I was supposed to do, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, my life was going to end up just like the white boys around me. And that was not true. It was a separate system waiting on them. It was a safety net. When they fell, they were caught. And they are millionaires with jobs that nobody knows how they got. And here I am, and here go other people with medical degrees, law degrees, graduate degrees, and A1 credit, and we living in apartments. So our kids need to know that it's a separate world out there for us. I feel like if I would have knew the truth when I was 17, 18, that hey, this world ain't yours, that would have put me in a better position to be successful in life. Like Wani said, kids need to know the truth. All right, we're round about the space. We're gonna get a couple more people and we're gonna call it a night. I see saw the black. Let's get Wally and Black. You'll be last speaker. Go ahead, Black. Go ahead, Wally. I'm sorry. Or Wally.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, assalamu alaikum. Yeah, no, I just wanted to say, uh, inna la ilahi wa inna ilahi rajoon. Just means, basically in Arabic, it means, we belong to God,
Where are you
and to
from?
Him we shall return. Uh, from Sudan.
Why are you telling us about it?
But yeah,
Post it to us.
That's a real question, Wally. Like, why'd you feel moved to tell us that?
it's my religion.
Well,
I'm Muslim. I'm sorry.
are you
I should have
spreading it
led
by the
with that.
sword or
I
something?
should have led
Are
with
you
that.
spreading Islam by the sword
Yeah.
again?
Well, I felt like the
We
conversation was
weren't
very
talking about
deep, and
Islam.
we
We
were
were
talking
talking about a
about
young
that.
man getting fucked the fuck up.
Right.
What does that have to do with
Absolutely.
your shit?
Well, when anyone passes away, like I said, inna
The
lillahi
white man
lahi
passed away.
wa inna
Why don't you
ilahi
go in the white
rajiun.
room and tell his people about it?
Was
And
it Malcolm?
then
I think it
When
was Malcolm
anyone
X.
passes away,
It may have been Malcolm X that said we'll sort out religion after we get our freedom.
yeah.
w-
Maybe that wasn't Malcolm
Do you
X.
right?
even know who
Okay.
died or what? You guys just
Oh
stumble in
no, I
rooms,
understand the
no, I
story
don't know.
completely. I understand this
Mm-hmm.
story completely. I wasn't able to finish whatever I was going to
Yeah, some
say
broad
I
cut
could have
you
had
afterwards,
your
off.
but
spot, Wally.
I
Come on
Yeah,
appreciate
now.
some
that.
broad cut you off.
So, okay. And um,
This is a
Speaking your
system of
anyway,
language,
supremacy that I was
I
like
do
talking about.
love what
why you
this.
coming here
So the
showing off your
kids,
language, flexing on your language like that? Why'd you come in here doing that?
That's not even his language. Arabized weirdos. The hell out of here.
How you grab somebody else's language and religion and be like, "Oh yeah, it's for everybody."
Right.
Quiet
Global
down,
If you
sir.
don't get
global
the hell up out of
terrors.
here, you're all mixed up.
okay, all right.
You all
At
mixed
any
up.
rate, though,
What rate?
um,
At any rate. Where'd you get that from?
so anyway, the kids,
So anyway, what?
um,
Is that a Sudanese
I
term?
actually really liked what the kids that are growing up are actually very smarter than you think.
Okay.
They're
Yeah,
capable of
got their
understanding
smart
more
fake
than you believe.
degrees.
Smart enough to defend
They're
themselves when
gonna
they get
have to be
caught.
smart if the
Um,
parents ain't even gonna tell us that
exactly.
racism
Absolutely.
exists. They better get
And
smart.
everyone is allowed to defend
They better
themselves as you
evolve.
should.
They better adapt to parents not tell. Oh, by the way, I mean,
Right.
how do you not know there's racism?
Right.
Doesn't your daddy come in? My father would come in and say some funny style woman did this. Or he would
Sure.
say racist stuff. That's another way that I learned about racism.
Right.
How are their parents just frolicking into the house, not complaining about some incident that was racist? How does that happen?
What I would like to understand though is why
You don't have
before I started
racism. You
speaking, I
guys
felt
all
like
look the same and you badger and beat each other up and genocide each other.
so that
You have a
actually
different
was like
dynamic.
I think was actually my question because I actually liked the title.
Mm-hmm.
Um, are Africans
Yes, you
responsible for
are. Have
slavery?
a nice day.
Absolutely.
I think that's kind of
Yeah,
well,
so why
let's
don't you
talk about
apologize since you know that you're
why would that be
responsible
the
for it?
case?
Why would what be the
I need
case?
reparations.
Hold on. Why would what be the case? Are you
So
saying
do you know where Sudan is on the map?
shh? Are you saying Africans are not responsible for slavery? First, you sold humans to
I'm just asking.
Arabs, Turks, and then the
I
white
mean, no,
boy.
no, no. I asked the
You want
question.
more people to sell? I think you ran out of people to sell them to. Did you sell them
Ah,
to Aboriginals in Australia? No, they were too far away, huh? Who didn't you sell people to is the
well, I
question.
don't know anything about what you're
Okay.
speaking of.
Well,
My people were actually.
what, Wally,
So go ahead. Yeah, go ahead,
you,
brother. Go ahead, professor.
you're derailing this space. And the
I'm just
topic says, "Are
arguing with
FD?"
them for fun.
I think Average wants to talk to him.
I just wanted to ask the dude, is that the
I
host
was
from
switching
Comedy Heights?
to the rest of
Motherfucker
the
sound like a
actual
host from Comedy
conversation. The
Heights.
title says, "Are
Boring as fuck.
Africans responsible for for
We
slavery?"
told you,
That's
yes,
what I
they
was
are.
saying, brother. That's all.
All right, average. Make your comment.
So can you explain to me why?
Oh
Yeah,
Why?
boy,
Oh, oh
please.
yeah. Let me just say this real quick too.
I
By the way,
removed
I
him.
know
I don't know
Tariq's
what he's
about to
talking
start
about.
up. Yeah, I didn't know what he was talking about either. He's like real boring. I'm wide awake and he's putting me to sleep. That shit was crazy. Um, but yeah, Tommy Sotomayor, by the way, he was listening to y'all when y'all was talking. Y'all kicked him out because he hit me up and said he wanted to talk to me and have a space. Of course, Tariq about to come on, so I'm not trying to do that to myself. But but yeah, hey, I'm down for it. At another time after Tariq's space or tomorrow or whatever. I would have done his space, but last time we talked, he blew up. I brought up Tariq and the nigga lost it. Nigga, did his little so everybody something something. He went off like cartoons and video games, and he like Tariq is like his trigger. That nigga like lost it. You bring up Tariq and he just. So I'm not gonna say the T word when we have our space. I'm not even going. I can't say Tariq. I think that's probably a good idea. But we're gonna try to do that thing, and I'm gonna represent for the lineage, man. And once again, appreciate the space.
No cap. I'm glad you're here, man. We're gonna do talks with, and the last speaker will be the black. Go ahead, talks with.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? I just wanted to say real quick. Often we all talk about equality, excuse me, within the black race, and you know, I just feel like
Where are you from?
a lot of us
Where are you from?
from.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's a fair question in our
Yeah.
spaces. What's your lineage?
Well, the thing is, right? So
No,
I'm a black American. Say
you
again.
had
Answer the
you
question.
said something with an accent and then you corrected yourself. Where are
Mm-mm.
you
I'm not.
from?
I don't have an accent. I'm from Texas, born and raised.
Yeah, okay.
Not talking like that.
Yeah.
That boy live.
This is crazy.
Legos,
But I
And,
wanted
and
to.
Texas.
y'all passed me up for my submission for tether.
Well, what I wanted to say was honestly, I
Where are
think
you
at the end of the
from?
day,
Where are you from?
it's pretty sad that
Where are you
you got
from?
you can't have a serious question with Tommy about.
Where are you from?
Oh my god.
We don't get answers from liars. People named Sotomayor that want to say they're not from Panama.
I don't have an accent. It's 7 a.m. where I'm at. I'm currently in Italy right now. I'm
You
American,
do have an
born and raised.
accent, but okay.
Yeah, bro. To be fair, I hear a little something, something going on.
Is it not crazy that I'm telling you that I'm born and raised
Well, we
in
don't care.
Texas, and you telling me that you said what?
So was Lucy Liu, but she's
We
Asian.
don't care about what you're telling us. You people lie out of your ass. We can't listen to you. We'll tell you where you're from.
I'm dead, Ronnie.
Bro follows Andrew Tate. Get your ass out of here.
Thank you.
Ouch.
Next speaker. All right, last speaker is the Black. Go ahead and take us home, Black.
What's going on, family? Yeah, see these infiltrators trying the devilish darn garnet games, and we just caught them again. See, uh, our FBAs allowed to defend ourselves? We are when it comes down to how we look at things, but to the dominant society, they prefer we wouldn't, so we could be easy targets, but we won't allow that. History has proven shown that uh, when you bring the smoke, we gonna light it up. And uh, going into these rooms and talking about this about the young brother, it it shows that a lot of people lack the knowledge of history, and it's a shame because although we have our ups and downs, America does have a rich, diverse, beautiful history, and I don't understand why foreigners try so bad to come over here and try to take that history and so much willing to give up their rich history that they have, I guess. Because all I see is immigrants continue to come in and push the vibe between us and regular old white folks that's been here with us, going through the motions. So I'm convinced that it's not really a white and black thing particularly. I mean, it's always gonna be racism, but with like regular whites or the Civil War whites, it's no issue with them. They tired of getting slapped around. They trying their best to get out their trailer parks and somehow reach the American dream, but they continue to allow immigrants to pass and cosplay as them and bring black immigrants to do the same for us, and now they're they're stuck in a cat and mouse game on should we keep whiteness and try to preserve it, or should we just dismantle it and allow the niggas to take over, because that's the only choice it's gonna be. And their best bet is to do what their founding fathers did and assimilate to us and find them a new identity that's gonna at least be able to coexist for at least another 200 years if it lasts that long. To tell you the truth, because if Elon Musk don't make it to Mars and terraform it and make it
That's
habitable for them,
impossible. That's impossible.
well, they gonna have to go back to the
They have
caves.
30% gravity.
Well,
You
one, I
can't
think they're
breathe the
gonna have to go
air.
back to them
You can't
caves.
breathe.
So
Negative birth
do you
rates.
think it's possible for them to
They're
like?
just lying about Mars, trying to make everybody feel like we're going to get left behind. Bye. Bye.
So do you think it's possible for them to re coexist in the caves, like the deep crevices of the caves where?
There's too many lizard men up in there.
Oh well,
They're already
they're gonna have to
functional.
make a deal with them or something, because it seems like everybody is done with the shenanigans in the games and just want to stick to real truth and real guidelines that unfortunately they don't want to go by. But hopefully, Africans can finally admit that yeah, they sold people around the world and they like being the white man's puppet.
Mm-hmm.
But happy Monday Tuesday, whatever these days is, they made up.
Oh Lord. They
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I've enjoyed y'all tonight. Um, Quick answer: are FBAs allowed to defend themselves? Question mark. Um,
yes
the
and no.
yes and no. Um, from what I was taught and what I'm told to teach my students is there's equal justice under the law. But like my late great aunt June said, justice is not blind. She be peeking under that blind folk at black people. Last part of the space: are Africans responsible for slavery? Yes. The end. I enjoyed y'all tonight. Wanda, you had any last comments?
Good night.
Nikki?
I just wanted to say how much I just enjoy these spaces and how much I enjoy the family coming up and talking with us. And I've learned so much being around Wani, Professor, and the family. We've been through some things on the back end, on the front end. I just love doing this, and I just look forward to holding more spaces with all of you. Have a
Uh,
good night.
Same here. It's called Growing Pains, and we are family. And ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, that's the key to it all. That's the magic ingredient that we've learned on these spaces is we need each other. The hell with everybody else. I need you, and I'd like to think that you need me. I love you all, and I'll see y'all later. Peace out.